What's going on, guys? This is SportsFan4 and it is finally time, guys. The NFL draft is here. We are doing a 3-hour-long mega stream that is headed right to you guys here. Not really sure what's going on. Oh, here they are. The NFL draft, free to play. My naked brother's right next to me. Got a bunch of 95 overall players here that are not showing up on picture, but we get CeeDee Lamb, Justin Herbert, and Isaiah Simmons, 3 free players from the draft class. Can you please get your hand out of the way? So anyway, guys, we're going to be going over some of the... Dude, stop. Actually, you need to stop. I don't want you here. We're going to show you guys the picks that we have. We have picks 1 through 4. Well, I show you guys right here. So we will redeem these. Can you stop chewing your gum in my ear? Thank you very much. We will have picks 1 through 4. You guys see 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have pick 8, pick 14, pick 21, and pick 28 that we will have. Due to copyright reasons, guys, I cannot show you guys the draft, but I can do the audio. So we will do as much as
traditions are important
to put the draft
now more than ever.
So,
and while I considered skipping this one,
but anyway,
Bud Light reminded me it just wouldn't be the same.
On being here. But anyway, we also got 2 11 through 20 picks and 1 6 through 10 pick. I'm still happy to choose. So, what time is it right now? It is currently 7:58, which means the draft officially begins in 2 minutes. So we are going to start this.
Well, welcome back. In just a few minutes on ESPN, the 2020 NFL Draft will come your way. It is presented by Lowe's as we are getting closer and closer to starting the process that will take us through the next few hours, hopefully with just a few glitches. So let's get you set up on what we might expect. A final thought before we get going. Let's start with Mel Kiper Jr. Mel, what's going through your head right now?
Trey, pick 3 and 4. Detroit Lions, New York Giants. They say the picks are for sale. Will there be a buyer, or do they have to just make a pick? I can't wait for pick 3 and 4.
Yeah, you got to have a partner to make a trade. Lewis, what about you?
You can't watch the draft for free.
Oh, it's all about the 5 spot in the Miami Dolphins for me. What's real? What isn't real? Do you like Tua? Do you not like Tua? Do you like Herbert? Do you not like Herbert? You want a position player? You're moving out. You're going to address quarterback at 18. What's going on there with the Miami Dolphins?
All right, we'll see what happens there. Booger, defensive-minded guy. What's on your mind right now?
86 to 98 overall draft player if we win these.
Well, Trey, I just want these guys to have fun and enjoy the night. This is the biggest night of their life so far. Their families' lives are going to be changed. I remember what this night was like. Enjoy. Don't listen to what we say. Enjoy the night and have fun because your life will never, ever be the same.
Don't wear what Booger wore, because that was interesting. Daniel Jeremiah, what about you?
All Redskins out today. We are going to be playing.
Jacket, Trey, I'm looking forward to tonight is seeing where this wide receiver run takes place. Is it going to be at 11 starting with the Jets? Is it 12 with the Raiders? Is it 13 with the Niners? It's a great year for wideouts. When does the run start?
And Kurt, any quarterback loves a good wide receiver.
I do, but you know it's all about the quarterbacks, Trey. Quarterbacks drive the draft. If you don't have one, you don't have a chance to win a championship. So where do these guys go, and does anybody make a surprise pick and move up to get one?
We'll see what happens. Michael, you get the final word, and I'm terrified by that.
But listen, man, the reality is, Kurt, you can't throw it and catch it too. So these receivers, and it's a great group of receivers, a lot of great diversity. We got fast guys, we got big guys that can run. So I'm looking forward to see that run also with DJ.
All right, guys, great job. We appreciate that. Look, every year when the draft rolls around, there is a resurgence of energy from fans across the NFL because they believe this will be the year their team will make the right selection that will turn the tide and give their franchise and that fan base the hope they've been missing. The hope we've been missing is a big part of the last couple of months in this country, and we're hoping tonight we will get that message across.
Here we go. 8:01. Here we go, guys. The draft is beginning as we play the solo challenge against the Bengals.
This is a young man who has
NFL draft countdown is what it is.
He won't shout it from the rooftop, but if you ever talk to him, you sense it and you start to get it.
So right now we're just doing all the opening festivities for the draft. So
this may look like separation, but it's actually solid. It's sacrifice and It's a sign that through isolation, we are fighting as one. And there's no better reason than that.
He's going to be stopped here a few yards short of the first as the tackle is made at the 33.
Hope is something we sports fans know all about. It's what keeps us cheering year after year for our favorite stars and our favorite teams, alongside our friends and family. And in football, the hope starts all over again. Hope, the deep and passionate kind. Hope that the next pick will make this season the season. Hope that the next name called will be yours. But this year, we're hoping for more than a future star.
So the NFL draft is officially beginning.
A stronger line, a greater speed. We're hoping to fill a deeper need. With a future of full arenas, full voices, free reign, to gather, to feel the power of football together. Because that will mean life is back to normal for us all. So celebrate with these young men as they start their careers today. Looking forward to a stretch of glorious tomorrows. For this draft, we're not the Raider Nation or cheeseheads. We're not red and gold or white and blue. We're one football family. Sharing our hope with all of you.
That the voice of Peyton Manning talking about hope. That, of course, is Las Vegas, Nevada, where the draft was supposed to be held. But things have changed dramatically. And we have changed with it. The draft, in all its glory, is still coming to you tonight, just from a different location and in a different way. And with that, we welcome you in to the 2020 NFL Draft, presented by Lowe's. It is our privilege and delight to once again be with you here tonight. And we understand the world that we know. Still here to be a part of what is one of the great communal sports experiences of all time, the NFL Draft. And as we deal with the pandemic that is sweeping across this country, our thoughts and prayers go out to one of our own. Our own Todd McShay is not with us tonight because he's disclosed he is battling the coronavirus. Todd, we are with you. This draft coverage tonight is for you, and we look forward to getting you back and with us as soon as you possibly can. But we have it all covered like we do every year, people. You're looking at 60 remote setups of potential draftees across the landscape. We will have those reactions as we always do, the raw emotion when they come. We also have all 32 teams. We've got them ready to make the picks. You will hear for all of them, and we've got our team as well to break down every single pick. But ladies and gentlemen, let us get this party started with the commissioner.
There we go.
Welcome to the 2020 NFL Draft, and thank you for taking the time to be with us. Like millions of fans, team personnel, and prospects, I join you from my home for the first virtual NFL Draft. This is different for us, and it's different for you, because it has to be. Our thoughts have been elsewhere lately. We have been thinking of those fighting bravely on the front lines and those whose lives have been profoundly changed by this unprecedented crisis. We marvel at the compassion and courage of our healthcare heroes and first responders. We appreciate our leaders and the men and women serving our country. Thanks to these heroes and to everyone who's done their part to help stop the spread. We will get through this together. And when we do, we will be here for you. As we celebrate the newest class of the NFL, we hope the draft will provide a break from everyday challenges. Let us dream of better days and help others. The Draft-a-thon will raise awareness and much-needed funding for those who need it most. For those able to help, we encourage you to visit NFL.com/relief to join the NFL family and make a contribution. We are so fortunate to have the most passionate and generous fans in the world. And we thank you for helping to make the NFL what it is and for being part of our family. Many families have experienced loss. To honor and remember those we have lost, please join me in observing a moment of silence.
Interception can save a game right there. They're already down 2 scores. Huge play.
Thank you. To perform the national anthem, we welcome from his home, with help from his daughter Georgia, Grammy and Emmy Award winner and New Orleans Saints fan, Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Every night in cities across our country and all over the world, thousands gather in the streets, windows, and doorways to cheer on the millions of frontline workers fighting this virus and working tirelessly to help navigate us through these unprecedented times. Please join me in cheering on these brave heroes.
Commercial.
This is one. So is this. And so are these. But no matter the shape, square footage, they all represent something.
Get 3 sacks. We can do it in 3 plays. Watch this.
A refuge. The feeling of home. That's why
when it comes back, don't worry, I'll turn the volume back up, guys. But for now, I'm just gonna play a little bit of Madden. I hope that the volume on the draft was not that bad either. Everybody's watching the draft on a different screen. My dad's watching on the TV, he's watching on the computer, and I'm watching on my phone while playing Madden for you guys. Yay! But we were also talking about the draft and whether or not these teams made really good, really bad, or really bad picks. Like I'm scared the Redskins are at number 2. If we take Tua, I would literally take this jersey off and throw it. And sit here with my shirt off.
Here's Brandon Guyton and Charles Davis.
Go watch the draft!
All right, thank you, Coach. We pick up this challenge in the 3rd quarter with 5 minutes.
Yeah, stop being an idiot. Don't worry, he's like this in real life. This isn't him acting.
own 25.
He acts like he's a fucking idiot.
So first and 10 for
Can you
the
please stop?
offense as they get ready.
It doesn't matter. You're still going to win me when you run people with freaking cameras. There's one sack. Literally just run straight rush the whole time. This play always works. Well, not always, about 95% of the time. No. Okay, the draft is about to go back down and watch. There we go. Oh, we fumbled it. No! Okay, you know what? Well, we'll take it into the touchdown. We'll just rub it in. It's against my own team, but whatever. Let's just go for it. Fun. No way. Got him. Alright. If you're here, can you guys like start talking in the live chat, because I just can't just keep talking to myself. Or get other people to come. Text other people. Have them show up. Good question. I'm wondering who is here. Guys should let me know in the live chat as Ryan shows Darius guys in the ground. I love how these teams are boosted and yet they're still super bad. Okay, you see, this is where the guy. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna cover these guys over here. Please don't throw it. Yes, let's go. Okay, that's the end of the challenge. That was 3 seconds.
Well done. You've defeated this ultimate challenge. Now, if there are stars still available, you can always replay the challenge again. Otherwise, it's time to move on to the next one.
15 minutes. Oh my god. You know what? We're gonna accept the challenges we got now because it's 15-minute quarter. Like, can you not do that and stop acting like it? Can you go sit down, please?
No.
Who wants to listen to Dr. Fauci?
Yeah, Dr. Fauci!
In the United States and even in some respects worldwide.
I'm just joking. Nobody cares. 86 to 98 overall draft player. Please give me a 98 overall draft player. Of course, it's an 86. Calvin Ridley. Yay. Why does this game hate me? Why can I at least get a 90? You have to get 98. This is honestly easier than the one before this. Don't allow more than 30 yards gain. Okay, let's go. This is literally 2 drives I can do this in. We will play this challenge and then we are going to react to the draft. Why does everybody have the draft on but me? I'm still on commercial because I'm so far behind. I'm literally a minute or like 2 minutes behind what everybody else is. Come on. I just want my picks already. I'm Chinese.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us.
Alright. I'm honestly going to have a panic attack when the Redskins are on the clock. Just second overall, which means I'm going to have a panic attack in this live stream. Yay. I have it right here.
There's still 8 minutes left. You're up by 2 scores. You got the ball on your own 15-yard line.
Alright. That's a pick. Oh, that's a touchdown. Let's get it. Come on. You can outrun Antoine Bethea. He's been playing for like 50 years. Okay, the draft is back on, and we just scored a touchdown. Yeah.
The general manager and the owner. Any one of those 3 people can actually make the selection for their team.
Okay, so
and all teams will email or phone in their picks, much in the way they always do throughout every draft. So there may be some technological glitches, and we will ride through it, but we'll do it together as we witness one of the great spectacles in all of sports, the NFL Draft. And we've got the fans here as well as they get set. As you can see, Bengal fans are waiting, and some are already donning the Joe Burrow jersey. Will it be that simple? Because if it is, it would be the 3rd straight year that the Heisman Trophy winner was taken as the first overall selection in the draft. There is Zach Taylor looking to rebound after a rough year as the first year as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Went 2-14, started the season 0-11, but they're hoping they turned it around late and will turn it around tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to officially open the 2020 draft, let's go to the commissioner.
Doing the draft this way is a new experience for all of us.
All right, let's go.
But some things remain the same. First, the hugs. Sharing that special moment with a player when he is selected is a big highlight for me. My body won't miss those great big bear hugs, but I sure will. Instead, we'll find other ways to have fun virtually. Second, I will miss the interaction I have with our fans over these 3 days. It's a draft tradition and one that I genuinely enjoy. Let's hear from you right now. Oh, come on, guys. You can do better than that. Let's go. Oh, Strahan. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Okay, and we just got a lag.
You guys can do better than that. All right, keep it coming. Wow, even the virtual boos are good. Yes, I can hear you from my basement, so keep it coming. Lastly, the best part of the draft is that it restores hope and generates optimism. Because every team gets better through the draft. So good luck to every team, and let's get it started. It's now my honor to announce that the first ever virtual NFL draft is officially open. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
The Bengals are on the clock, and somehow...
Commissioner, thanks very much. We told you we'd have some booze for you. Zach Taylor is there, looking to make his first selection. Duke Tobin also furiously working through what may be happening. Of course, you earned the top pick in the draft, and the Cincinnati Bengals, while they have had some playoff appearances over the last 10 to 15 years, have struggled. Fifth worst record in NFL history, 449 winning percentage. 20 seasons without a playoff win, the longest active streak in the NFL. And, of course, this is the fourth #1 pick in the last 30 seasons, which is tied for the most in the NFL over that time frame. And there is the man from Athens, Ohio, the Heisman Trophy winner, Joe Burrow, who is the presumptive, for the next few minutes anyway, the #1 overall pick. So let's get to know Joe Burrow, the former LSU quarterback, and the high hopes he hopes to bring to the Cincinnati Bengals. He comes from a football family. They all went to Nebraska. Nebraska chose to not pick up on Joe Burrow, even after he was a 2014 Mr. Football out of Athens High School in southeast Ohio, and then, of course, went to Ohio State. At one point, he was considered to be the next Alex Smith, but never really got going. Then he transferred to LSU. His first season in 2018 was okay. 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. And then 2019 happened, and my God, he rolled in everything you possibly could. Single season records for total offensive yards, total touchdowns at 60, or total touchdown passes at 60, total touchdowns at 65, a national championship.
They're going for about 6.
And a Heisman Trophy as well. It's arguably the greatest season a college quarterback has ever had. They beat 7 top 10 teams and scored a record 726 points. So let's get to know Joe Burrow as best as we can. Mel, Cincinnati is here because last year wasn't great. They have had some success, but they need Joe Burrow to up the ante here.
Yeah, I'd like to dispel that myth that the Bengals are the worst place to go. Since 2003, when they drafted Carson Palmer, 6 10-win seasons. That's as many as the Cowboys had, more than the Chargers, the Giants, and the 49ers. Quarterback since 2003, basically Palmer and Dalton have thrown 414 touchdown passes. That's 13th in the NFL. Not the worst place to go. And for Joe Burrow, what impressed me the most was the big games. There were 5 opponents that finished in the top 10 when the season ended. Against those 5 opponents, Joe Burrow had 22 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. And when the pressure was on, he was always at his best.
He was absolutely Joe Cool. Daniel Jeremiah, when you see Joe Burrow, what's the first thing that stands out when you watch the tape?
Already expired thing.
Well, to me, it's just the poise that he plays with. I look at accuracy, poise, decision-making, playmaking, and Joe Burrow's off the charts in all 4 of those areas. The big leap took place from 18 to 19 because they got 5 guys out into the route, and that's where he was able to spread and shred every single defense he faced with LSU this fall.
Let's go to Kurt Warner next. Kurt, lots of quarterbacks have great stats, but you look for traits in college quarterbacks that can translate to the NFL. Yours certainly did. What are you looking at trait-wise that you like from Joe Burrow?
So, We're going to go.
Well, you're right, Trey. There's not very many sure things at the quarterback position making that transition from college to pro. So what does translate? When you talk to players going from college to the NFL, the first thing they say is the speed of the game picks up. You're looking at Joe Burrow. That was probably his greatest strength, was being able to process information, make good decisions, and get the ball out of his hands quickly. Also, a very accurate quarterback, over 76% completion. That is something that also translates. A couple things I really like about Joe Burrow.
All right, Kurt, thanks very much. Let's go to our front office insider, Louis Riddick. Louis, it was your job to evaluate talent like Joe Burrow when you were working with Washington and Philadelphia. What did you learn about him through this process?
Yeah, now you're watching it.
Look, Trey, he's a guy who can do many, many good things, and he's a very diverse quarterback as far as the kind of things that he can execute both inside the pocket and outside the pocket. Inside the pocket, we've already talked about the fact that he's one of those guys who can just move subtly, buy time, keep his eyes down the field, and throw the ball with accuracy. He can throw the ball outside the pocket on designed boots and rollouts and throw it with accuracy there. And then the number one thing really is this. He is very, very athletic, almost sneaky athletic, but people who watch him realize that this is a guy who can pick up first downs with his legs, so he can do it all. You can see why Cincinnati ultimately is going to pick him.
Listen, we've got all the physical traits. Michael Irvin, you talked about this earlier in our pregame show about above the shoulders. I want to read a quote to you about Joe Burrow, about trying to be a leader. He said, everyone has their own secret sauce. You can't steal someone else's. If Burger King tried to make cane sauce, it would be crap. Everyone has to have their own. You just have to find it. And he seems like he's found that sauce.
If only we
just by sharing that right there with you tells you he understands he has to be himself in order to win that locker room. But he has those three things that as a young man, he's going in a grown man's locker room and trying to win that locker room. They want to know, your quarterback, can you score? You just talked about he had the touchdown record in the FBS. They want to know, can you win? They went 15-0 and he won the Heisman Trophy. And they want to know, can you lead? He led his team to a national championship. That should go a long way, Trey, when he walked in that Bengals locker room and try to ascend to the leader of that team, franchise, and community.
Michael, you're absolutely right. And Booker, you saw this unfold firsthand. I mean, let's be honest. When Joe went to Baton Rouge, skinny kid from Southeast Ohio, he was all the way an outsider. And by the end of this past college football season, he could not have been more a Bayou Bengal.
Well, Trey, he's got that it factor. Many have tried, but Joe was the only one to succeed, to come to Baton Rouge and to galvanize all the talent that LSU had down there. And his ability to walk in the huddle and have the other 10 guys look at him and know that we have a guy that has supreme confidence, not cockiness, but just confidence. And Trey, I'll tell you a story. We were walking to midfield for the national championship game. It was me and Joe side by side against Clemson. He simply looked at me and gave me a wink. He's confident, not cocky, and Cincinnati's going to love him up there.
Friggin' luck.
Oh, you got to like that in your quarterback. A very, very cool story there, Booger. So he did win the Heisman Trophy in a landslide, most first-place votes, widest margin of victory we've ever seen. But during that time, when Joe was at the pinnacle of individual achievement, he took a pause in that Heisman Trophy speech and for about 30 seconds spoke about something that was very near and dear to his heart.
Thank you, God. The pick is in. For the Bengals.
Coming from Southeast Ohio, it's...
Dad, do not make any noises, please, or tell me who it is, because I want a reaction for the freaking live stream.
The poverty rate is almost 2 times
the same for you, all right?
The national average, and
don't tell me
so many people there that don't have a lot.
Whether it's Joe Burrow
and I'm up
not,
here for all those kids in Athens and in Athens County that go home to.
We're gonna play that last solo challenge.
Not a lot of food on the table.
This is where
hungry after school.
For an 86.
And you guys can be up here too.
It doesn't really matter, but if it is, yay.
I'd like to thank.
Burrow's Heisman speech.
And that has led to the Joe Burrow effect away from the field, including restaurants in the Plains, Ohio, naming meals and omelets after him. Look at him celebrating with the fans after they came back after that win over Alabama, and then changing his jersey name to Burrow. in classic Louisiana style. He was in every way the Lion King as he won that Heisman Trophy in a landslide, and over $500,000 raised to the Athens Food Pantry. Even got a giraffe named after him. He put up a sign in Baton Rouge this week thanking them for everything they've done. And, of course, self-deflecting as well, basically monitoring and saying, I haven't gotten a haircut in a month, so don't make fun of me. I couldn't get to the barber and get cleaned up. But, ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. The Bengals have turned in their selection. Let us go to the commissioner.
Okay, here we go. With the first pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
Burrow's a LSU-bound, or not LSU, Cincinnati Bengals-bound quarterback.
And there you see Joe with mom and dad, and you have to wonder what's going through his mind right now. Remember, when he entered the transfer portal, he said one more time he wanted to go to Nebraska, and Scott Frost, the coach, said, is he better than what we got? The answer is yes. Mel Kiper, what do you like most about Joe Burrow's game?
I'll tell you what, the improvement was so dramatic, and you were a little cautious early on, Trey. This was a 6th-round pick going into the year, and all of a sudden, you see this guy putting up big numbers. He looks like he's got it. He's going to incorporate every receiver into the mix. They got everything going. He started moving them up to the 3rd round, 2nd round. I drew comparisons to Tony Romo. Then it became Tom Brady. Then you get late in the season after you won the Heisman Trophy, you say, boy, now the pressure's on. This is championship or bust for LSU, and he didn't blink. He got behind the Clemson game early, and then all of a sudden, lights out. Yeah, Joe Burrow is poised, his confidence, the way he manipulates the pocket, he just has that hit factor. He has tremendous awareness.
Redskins are now 7 minutes up on the clock.
Stays away from trouble and then makes those accurate strikes.
Don't worry, they won't familiar with this.
I can never remember a college quarterback having. As I said, you talk about the elite competition he faced.
But yeah, for those of you, I am not really that surprised with the Burrow pick. I kind of saw that now for a long time, that Burrow was going to go to the Bengals ever since everybody started putting it on their boards. I think just about everybody thought that Burrow would go to the Bengals. Going to be NFL talent. I definitely think he's going to be great at NFL talent. A lot better than Tua probably would have been. Is he going to be a long-time ranked quarterback? That is iffy. Just because if he's only had really one good college season, those kind of guys you take a chance on, you don't really know what you're going to get. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. 6 minutes on the clock now. Hopefully we can get the guy we want, but at least we get the 99 overall Burrow. They're probably right now designing his card, which is why they say they're going to
they will have some of those same concepts in Cincinnati. You will see the same thing from Joe Burrow, a quarterback that leads your football team from a talent standpoint.
All right, that's a touchdown. Unless Torrey Holt gets chased down. Wouldn't be surprised. Oh, back juke. I don't know why I ran to the inside.
Hey, Greg, a lot of people have asked him why he make that big transition from 18 to 19. It wasn't just the system. He got there late before that 18 season, didn't get a chance to get comfortable, and he had a little rust. He had played a lot of football in 3 years, but what we saw this year was outstanding. How about the field vision, the awareness? You read the safety vacate, go towards the middle of the field. You've got a vertical with Justin Jefferson from the slot. You take that all day long. He identifies, he attacks, and he drops his ball beautifully in the bucket. How about working in the middle of the field?
Alright, so our pick is in apparently.
Kind
of watching this back and forth between my phone and computer, other computer screens over there. You've got a lot of technology in this house set up for this strike.
You take the big hit and deliver a strike right on the money again, working in the middle of the field. How about the pocket awareness?
You know what? I don't honestly even care. So, oh wait, this was getting yards. This is where we're supposed to get 150 yards or something, isn't it? Or was it to win the game or something like that? Yes, I forgot. There's a set. Angelo Blackson, 67 overall freaking defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, he really is technically proficient in many, many different things.
Okay, hold on.
We're talking about playing
don't allow me
the
points.
quarterback position. First and foremost, when you want to look at him compared to some guys who are playing in the league right now as far as traits, you know, we already talked about the pocket mechanics.
Okay, so now they're just talking about Burrow, but our pick is in. So
football to make sure it's secure.
Hopefully, we did not majorly
Tom Brady, again, has made a living doing this his entire career. He doesn't have to be a great athlete, but he's so just smooth in the pocket. And now, out.
Mitchell. Can you come turn the volume off on your computer or put the headphones in or something? There's the pick, get a user work. And we hopefully will chase out Kenny Galladay. We will. Touchdown.
Look at this throw right here to Brandon Cooks in the back at the end zone at the back pylon. Doesn't get any better.
You guys can still hear this semi-well.
Using an athleticism to be able to recognize, hey, all the defenders back there to me on the second level. They're running down the field man to man. I'm going to take off. I'm going to burn you with my athleticism. Ryan Tannehill does the same thing. He carried the Tennessee Titans in this matter all year long in 2019. When he sees the defenders turn their back, he's going to take off and run with the football. This is what makes Joe Burrow the total package. This is why you go #1 overall.
Yeah, listen, it's hard to go against anything that we saw from Joe Burrow this past season. So he is truly the Tiger King. So let us go for more on that. He goes from a Bayou Bengal to a Cincinnati Bengal.
Noise in the background, guys, but it's kind of hectic right now.
Well, we all knew this was coming. Doesn't make it any less powerful. Joe, you were in Nashville last year for the draft. I had said to you then, you're going to be #1 overall in 2020. What would you have said?
I would have told you were crazy. You know, I knew I was going to have a really good season because I knew, you know, we had really good players coming back. I had great coaches.
So we're just kind
and we were going to work really, really hard to do it. To jump up to #1 overall is crazy to me, but it's a dream come true.
Mel Kiper shared earlier that going into last season, he had a 6th-round grade on you, but then you won the Heisman, a national title. You're #1 overall. How do you process that?
Well, I wasn't very good my senior year. You know, it's pretty simple. I worked really hard to get better. All my guys worked really, really hard to get better. We just gelled as a team this year to do exactly what we did.
That's great.
I mean, I just wasn't as good as I was my senior year. But I worked really, really hard to improve.
Tell us what the area code represents on your shirt.
Shush. 740. This is in the Athens County area. I wanted to something to represent my home area, my hometown, and Nike made this for me.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this before we even hear it online, but I'm telling you right now the Redskins Chase Young, so I'm so happy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Susie, Joe, thanks very much. Congratulations.
We're plugging your headphones.
Now on the clock, and you're looking at Chase Young, presumptive to be
he's on the phone right
the
now.
best defensive end in this board, the best player, quite frankly, in this draft, based on total talent, if you look at Mel Kiper's big board. So let's tell you a little bit about Chase Young and the things that he's been able to do at Ohio State. A long list of great defensive ends over the years have come out of Ohio State. Chase Young, of course, born in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Here's the entire list of Ohio State defensive ends that have had multi-years with double-digit sack seasons. Mike Vrabel and Chase Young. That's the entire list. That's why a lot of people think that they are zeroing in on the man they call the Predator because of those long dreadlocks he likes to wear. Here's Ron Rivera, the new head coach of the Washington Redskins, and Kyle Smith, the VP of Player Personnel. Nice sectional counts, by the way. So we believe the pick is in. Let's see what Washington is going to do. Once more, let's go to Roger Goodell.
With the second pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State. Congratulations, Chase.
Let's go, Chase.
So there you see Chase, a very, very happy young man, a team captain in the nucleus of that defense that allowed the fewest total yards per game in the nation last season. I guess crab cakes in football, that's what Maryland does, because Chase Young, born in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, second straight year that Washington has gone the Maryland route for a first-round pick, taking Dwayne Haskins. They're played with NBA #1 overall pick Markelle Fultz at one point. Dwayne Haskins grew up about 27 miles away from where the Redskins train, and Chase Young about 55 miles from the Redskins practice facility in Ashburn, Virginia. So we are clearly seeing a pattern. Booger, Chase Young was a dominant force. We talked about the sacks that he was able to get at Ohio State. What is Washington getting in Chase Young?
Well, quite simply, Trey, they're getting the best player in this entire draft. He can affect the game not only on first and second down, setting the edge, playing the run, but he can also be a dominant pass rusher on third down. You want to overset him as an offensive tackle, I have the agility to come inside, and he learned that at Ohio State from one of the best defensive line coaches in America. Larry Johnson. Got to give him a lot of love for what he's done the last few years.
But I'm more than anything glad that he made that pick, and that was
you're getting a guy who can be a Hall of Fame type player. Bill Polian once said, when you draft guys in the top 10, they have to be worthy of wearing a gold jacket, and this young man, Chase Young, he definitely is a versatile defensive end that can play the left side or the right side, and if you're the Redskins, Montez Sweat on the right side, now Chase Young on the left side, you have a very, very good pair of football.
Chase Young on the other side.
I think you look at that division with Dak Prescott, with Carson Wentz, and an emerging Daniel Jones. Now you get the outside pass rush. Hopefully Sweat comes on. You know Chase Young's going to be a factor. He is a master of the strip sack, those forced fumbles. He knows how to create. Final 3 games of the season didn't have a sack. I think that's why it made it easier for the Bengals to say, hey, it's Joe Burrow, not Chase Young. But certainly the Redskins, after he's thrilled, I have to say, to get the best player on the board pretty much all year has been Chase Young.
Looks like he's happy to be here, so they're showing him getting drafted, his reaction.
Well, yeah, one of the things about Chase Young, when you're talking about comparables and guys who he looks like in the NFL, I mean, you have to look at a guy like Jadeveon Clowney in terms of height, weight, and speed. They look almost identical as far as their body type. When you look at them on the screen, I mean, these guys really are the prototype when you're talking about 4-3 defensive ends. And with Chase Young, it starts in the run game. A guy who can get off the ball, reset the line of scrimmage, and then come back inside and make tackles here. And you see Jadeveon Clowney, he's just going to win here with speed at the line of scrimmage, but he's still disruptive and gets the TFL, the tackle for the loss. And then there's the power component rushing the passer, where you just come off the ball and really just take the offensive tackle and deposit him back in the lap of the quarterback, come off his block, and then make the sack. Here you're going to see Jadeveon Clowney do the same thing to Mike McGlinchey of the San Francisco 49ers. Just put him right back on Jimmy Garoppolo and get the sack. And then there's rushing with speed. Just absolutely teeing off with running.
That's why we got Godwin. That's why we have him.
And sprint to the quarterback.
Alright, so far we got a 99 Joe Burrow and a 98 Chase Young. So we got a new quarterback and new defensive end. That is great. Straight team.
What did you see in Chase Young? What did you like about it?
Well, everything you just said there, Lewis. I thought he created chaos in every single game that I watched. Even the Clemson game, the stat sheet might not show it, but I charted 5 pressures in that game despite getting double, triple team, 3-step drops, getting away from him. He still impacted the game. This Washington Redskins team was last on third down defense. That'll change.
Yeah, DJ certainly will. Real quickly, Chase Young was destined to be a football player. He was playing flag football at the age of 5. He didn't go for the flags. He kept tackling the players, then getting their flags. The other parents complained and said it isn't fair. Sometimes life isn't fair, and it may not be fair that you have that much talent in that kind of body for Chase Young. You saw that picture, by the way, on his desk. That's in honor of his grandfather who died in 2012. Carl H. Robinson died at 74 after a long illness. He was a big part of what Chase Young was as a boy, and they are honoring him with that picture tonight. So that means we are at pick number 3. That's the Detroit Lions. There you see Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia.
With the 3rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jeff Okudah, defensive back, Ohio State.
Corner in Okudah. And we throw down that.
And there you see the reaction.
Okay, so far we got a 99 quarterback, 98 D end, and 99 corner.
Goes off the board. Here's what's really interesting. The top 3 picks in this draft, at one time or another, all played at Ohio State University. Taking a look at Jeff Okudah and everything that he's done. He's the #1 cornerback in the ESPN class of 2017. His mother died 6 days after his first day on campus as an early entrant at Ohio State in January of 2017. He wears a bracelet for his mother, Maria Kuda, in her her memory and wrote a really heartfelt letter to her after she had passed away, saying all the things that she had meant to him and helped him along the way. And now Jeff Okudah, by the way, also was an academic star at Ohio State, carrying a GPA of 3.0. Jeff, we thought this would be the #1 corner off the board. We've gone chalk. What do you like most about what you see in Okudah's game?
Well, Trey, I see the size and the length and somebody that is outstanding in press coverage. He wants to play physical at the line of scrimmage. We saw him do it against some of the best wide receivers in
my reaction to Okudah yet again. Most draft boards had him. Kind of was expecting Okudah there. I was hoping for him, and we got him there. So that's all I can really say about Okudah is that I was really expecting Okudah to be there. I don't really know too many people I didn't really think he was going to be there. So, yeah, that's a good pick for the Lions. He should be great NFL talent at cornerback. He's a bigger guy, so a bigger guy in terms of corner. He's like 6'1", which is most corners are around 5'10", 5'11" size. So it's a really rare thing to find a good tall cornerback like Victor Sherman, who's 6'2" or 6'3". Oh my God, we just read that all the way, and we were just going to dance our way into the end zone. That is 6. Kyle Fuller, 98 overall corner. We're going to have a pair of 90 overall corners.
You see a very happy Matt Patricia, the head coach. And by the way, this is the 6th time in 7 years the Buckeyes have a cornerback taken in the first round of the draft. And there you see Bob Quinn, also very, very happy. And we have a theme for the first 3 draft picks of 2020. Burrow, Chase Young, and Okudah, all teammates at Ohio State in 2017, and the first 3 picks off the board in the draft in 2020.
So now the Giants are on the clock. The Giants are at number 4 on the clock. So let's see what the G-men do, whether they trade away like a lot of people thought they would, or if they keep their pick. About 5 minutes until they make their pick. With 5 minutes on my time, probably now like 3 minutes on other time. So yeah, let's take a quick commercial break here, which means that you guys can just sit back and not have to worry about all of the crazy volume and shit that's going on. Alright, 3rd and 3. We literally just gotta hold on for another 8.5 minutes, guys. It's that simple. Oh my God, I thought he caught that. I was about to say, what the hell? Okay, that's fine. So now we're sitting on the clock, guys. I don't even give a shit. Don't even worry. We probably will not score. Don't want to stick this time. So we know what we're going to do. We're just going to let the ball bounce and run some extra clock. We're going to let it sit there and run some extra clock until somebody comes and picks it up. So let's see, we'll start the ball to 24, so we're just going to literally run with Ezekiel Elliott. That's all we're going to do. We're going to just keep running with Ezekiel Elliott. Whether we run for a touchdown this play or not, we're running with Ezekiel Elliott. I just saw a creepy ass thing. And we of course ran right into the linebacker. That's amazing. But you guys, you know, I'm so glad that we don't have to deal with 67 to defensive end. I'm so glad. Now we just gotta get a guard. Because we have our quarterback. We have our end. We have a cornerback, which we don't even really need, so I might just... I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep Okudah no matter what. I was saying I might just sell one of my backup corners. Oh my goodness. Alright. Zeke has 220 rushing yards in this game. Still on commercial. Now we're down to 3 minutes left on the clock for the Giants. Don't worry, guys. Start to go faster as we get into the later picks. And here goes Zeke. Breaking tackles. Shit, I totally forgot to let the clock run there. Or did I? I may have waited until it was down to 1. Then wait until the play clock is down to 1, then we snap it. Dude, it was creepy. 6, 5. Okay, so the Giants have now 2.5 minutes. They still haven't gotten their pick in. And give it to Zeke again. What a spin, and that is gone. TD. Hey guys, some of you guys might be saying these are some really ugly unis. You know what? I don't care. They're the throwback Redskins. Gotta rep what your team used to be a little bit of some of that throwback shit. In a little bit, and there we go with the fake again. So now we're up 60. Speaking of which, how many of you guys have watched The Last Dance? Because that show was actually pretty good.
But for one person to get 3, it almost sets him apart from the rest of the game.
Draft is still not on.
Yeah, not from the defensive point of view.
It's not on for me. It's not on all commercial. Should be on now. And here we go.
The 2020 NFL Draft, presented by Lowe's.
Here at New York Presbyterian, every day we can hear the people cheering. We feel it, and it gives us hope.
Working on the front lines of this crisis can be overwhelming, but knowing we're in this together keeps us strong.
It's what you're not doing that's keeping us safer. Just by staying home helps us save lives, so keep it up.
We just want to thank all of you, our families and loved ones. Thank you too.
Please know that we are cheering you on too. We are stronger together.
You guys want to get this damn virus? Apparently there was this guy that was like...
Well, a little cheer can go a long, long way, and we're all in this together now. Help make a difference. Huddle up for COVID-19 relief efforts and join players, teams, fans, and communities around the country in the NFL draft. If we unite behind this cause, we can provide relief for those significantly impacted by the pandemic. Every dollar counts. Then visit NFL.com/relief to donate now. So the Giants are now ready to roll. You know, they won that Super Bowl. Super Bowl 46, 21-17 over the Patriots. That seems like a lifetime ago for Giants fans. They failed to make the playoffs in 7 of their next 8 seasons. The one time they did, they lost in the wild card round. Eli retired following this 2019 season. Once a Giant, only a Giant was alive. Head coach Pat Shermer was fired in December, 9-23. Joe Judge hired in January, and Joe Judge, now, of course, went the route last spent time with the Patriots as not only their special teams coordinator, but also worked out with the linebackers there. And he sort of had a little viral moment here. His dog, Abby, was on the cover of the New York Post with this Giants Twitter account posting a photo of Judge working from home, and Abby became an internet sensation. And Judge said right now Abby could probably tell you more about who we're going to take in the first round than anybody else. But ladies and gentlemen, take a look at Joe Judge, and I don't see Abby anywhere. Joe, if you're telling us the dog's going to make the pick, we need to know that the dog is in there making the pick with you. Mel, where should the Giants go here with this? We know their GM, Dave Gettleman, loves the big guys. Could we see a run on thickness starting here?
Well, it's all about Saquon Barkley and your franchise or potential franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. You got to keep him upright. Too many hits on the quarterback. I thought he had a great rookie year, Daniel Jones, but an offensive tackle like Tristan Wirfs, Iowa, Jedrick Wills Jr., Alabama. And then there's a defensive stud there. Versatile Isaiah Simmons, outside linebacker, Clemson. But you think about Gettleman, the offensive tackle spot, so critical for Barkley and Daniel Jones.
All right, listen, it certainly seems Dave Gettleman has made it clear he loves what he likes to call the hog mollies, the big guys up front. Isaiah Simmons is still there. Dabo Swinney has called him a beautiful football player. What will the Giants do? The pick is in. Let's go to the commish.
All right, so here's the pick.
With the 4th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Andrew Thomas, tackle, Georgia.
I saw him dropping.
Not a surprise that it's an offensive lineman, but perhaps somewhat of a surprise that it's this offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas. As a junior last season, he won the SEC's Jacob Blocking Trophy and was a consensus All-American. Now, what's really interesting about him is that not only did he play high school football, but as you can see, he was what we call a percussionist at Pace Academy, which is a fancy way of saying he played the drums. Now, his high school coach was Chris Slade, a defensive end who played a lot of years in the NFL, and he said, look, I'm glad that you play the drums, But if you take this football thing a little more seriously, you might
any of the 6
play
and 10.
in the NFL.
So hopefully
And DJ, that turned out to be very sage advice from Chris Slade.
Oh my God, you scared me.
Yeah, Trey started 41 games in the SEC. He's played left tackle. He's played right tackle. You know, everybody had these tackles in a different order. For me, he was my 4th offensive tackle, but I do feel like he has a very high floor. You know exactly what you're getting with him. He's going to be able to uproot people in the run game, and he's going to have a firm anchor in pass protection to hold up there. I did not see elite recoverability, elite quickness, or elite athleticism. I think that they've got themselves a solid, steady player, but I thought there were better options on the board at the position at this point in time if they were going to go tackle.
Lewis, what do you think?
None of my teachers watch my videos, I hope, because that would just be really weird that my teachers stop.
Yeah, look, I kind of agree with DJ. Look, of all the offensive tackles, I really thought Jedrick Wills was one of the guys who I thought would go off the board first.
Look at the Dolphins
this about Andrew Thompson. When you talk to people around the league, they feel as though he has absolutely pristine football and personal character. It's just some of the concerns for me as far as the power with which he can play with in the run game, because he plays with a little bit of a narrow base. But I will tell you this:
okay, so we get offensive line.
Arms. He is real good at his
If he's right tackle, we're gonna have to sell him because I need coins. Because I need to buy another left tackle. So hopefully he is left tackle. Please give us something good.
All right, Lewis, thanks very much. So we have landed at the 5th spot, one of 3 picks that the Miami Dolphins have in this first round. And of course, as we see Joe Judge talking about what they've done there, let's talk about Miami. Because they have had their issues since Dan Marino. And you look at all the things that have gone on. Other notable players they've traded in the last 14 months. Robert Quinn went to the Cowboys. He's since moved on. Kenny Stills is part of the Laramie Tunsil trade. He goes on to the Saints. Kenyon Drake. They have picks in the next 2 drafts. They have 5 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks. So they have the draft capital to do essentially whatever they want. But the Dolphins, well, when they had Dan Marino, they didn't really worry about much. But they haven't had Dan Marino since he retired before the 2000 season. That's 21 different starting quarterbacks. And they've only drafted 1 quarterback in the first round, Ryan Tannehill, 8th overall, and now he's signed to be the Tennessee Titans quarterback.
All right, so here are all the picks we still have left. We have picks 11 through 20, we have 1 6 through 10, and we have 1 21 through 32. So we got to make a really good choice on our 6 through 10 pick. Hoping that this is Tua, I will probably take whoever Andrew Thomas gets picked by. I will pick that pick. So at this point, we are really just hoping that the Dolphins will take Tua, because I was hoping that they would do that so that we don't have to take, we didn't have to go for the 5th pick. So hopefully we can choose whoever's going 6 through 10. We're going to choose Isaiah Simmons because I want linebacker. So yeah, here's the Isaiah Simmons that we got for free. He's actually better than Clay Matthews.
I think when you're at this spot in the draft,
so if we get Isaiah Simmons, then we would get. So that would actually work, because so we already know where these players are going to go. CeeDee Lamb,
the quarterback position if you do not,
or we could go wide receiver, either wide receiver or linebacker. If there's no wide receivers taken 6 through 10, we're going to take Isaiah Simmons. If there is,
the injury issues,
then we're probably going to take Simmons still. But if there isn't, then we're going to take Simmons, or we're going to take probably the wide receiver that goes
over to get someone else. But I love the Tua pick right here. I think he's got the potential to be a really, really special
because right now we already
there's a shot at Chris Greer, who was with the Dolphins in 2006, when as a unit, Louis Riddick, they decided to pass on Drew Brees because they didn't clear his shoulder. They went with the safer pick in Dante Culpepper, and let's just
say defensive
we all
end,
know how that worked out. Drew Brees is still going strong and setting records.
So next pick that we have is pick
as an organization, Louis, you've been in these meetings. There's a medical issue. How do you weigh the medical versus the talent?
Yeah, it's all about managing risks, right? It's all about future performance.
And don't worry, I'm going to choose these after the guys get picked because they can't take these packs away from you.
First, is he going to be on the football field? And I think when you're picking in the top 5, you're going to be a little bit cautious as far as saying, hey, look, we don't even know if he's going to make it to a second contract. Okay, we don't know if he's going to do that.
There's no new challenges at this
first contract. He just sets the world on fire. If we get lucky and he does learn how to get the ball out of his hands faster and take care of himself, we may have that generational guy. We may have that lefty that we put in the same category as the Steve Youngs and Jim Zorns of the world when they played in the NFL. So let's just see see if they go ahead and they throw caution to the wind and make the pick, or do they back off?
Check.
Well, listen, the great Spanish philosopher Santayana said those who do not remember history are destined to repeat it. So
okay,
we'll see what happens
we already
here.
have a 99, 98, 98, 98, so we have 3
But as we go through this process
what really sucked though right here is if we pull,
if it is indeed him,
is if that tackle turned into a right tackle. I don't remember if Andrew Thomas was a left or right tackle in college. I hope he was not a right tackle, because that would really be really bad.
If this was a normal run-up to the draft, would this be as much of an issue as it is right now?
Don't say.
Not Trey, and I think if you look at it, if you wouldn't be there,
you better not say
the injury, they would have had to trade up to get
I am not looking.
offensive tackles.
You better not say who they take. You better not say who they take.
This is a fascinating pick. We've been talking
Since
about
when were you a Dolphins fan?
Every day.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be interesting.
Don't say who they take.
Again,
I swear to God,
the
Mitchell, do
Dolphins
not
have the
say.
capital to do whatever they want here. Again, this is the first of their 3 picks in the first round, and there's still about
700 points. That's
minutes to go. Wait,
$7.
we're hearing it now. The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and see what happens.
All right, so here's the pick.
With the 5th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay, so thank God they take Tua there.
Quarterback,
because now
Alabama.
we don't. That's a good thing we didn't pick the 5th
There it is,
overall
which
pick.
means for the first time since Kellen Moore, who is now the Cowboys' offensive coordinator, threw a pass, we're going to have a left-hander who's going to throw a pass in the NFL, provided, of course, that Tua is healthy and ready to go when the season starts. But it's not just about
here.
the
NFL draft
fractured
pick
hip
number 1.
and the dislocated hip.
So here's this is the Burrow, right?
Tua has dealt with a lot of injuries over his time at Alabama.
Ooh, that card is smexy, boys.
A left quad, a left ankle,
card is
a broken index finger. He's had spiral surgery.
86 speed is kind of bad, but 99 throw act short, 98 throw act deep. Oh, that card is smexy.
The dislocation and the fracture of the hip that sent to his
okay, so hold on. Let's just see what he's going for right now.
But I guess
just
the medicals came back as clean as everybody was saying they were going to be. Kurt Warner.
Okay, so 329,000, that's not much, but it is a 99, and a lot of people did get it in sets. You know what, it's fine. We're keeping them anyway. We're not selling them for anything. We are already going to upgrade them. We're going to add balanced offense chem. We're just going to start off with just regular balance. No, you know what, we're not going to start with any chemistry. We're just going to add on his X Factor abilities. Just hit him up with his X Factor. We got enough training, I think, to upgrade just about all the first-round picks we get.
He looks really good.
So let's see, we got Gambler Pro Reads, Brick Wall, Gambler can't be intercepted by defenders, how it's first
his feet, the ability to redirect his feet, to buy time in the pocket.
Can't be intercepted by
we all
AI.
loved what we saw in that video, but Mel, it's still a big question. What will Miami do with him? Will they try to rush him onto the field, or will they give him a year to get healthy?
Yeah, Kurt, I really believe he needs the medically redshirt, let that body heal. But he's got to be more aware in the pocket and obviously stay away from trouble. He's got tremendous feel for throwing the football.
So we're going to
progression, so anticipatory a thrower. And the thing about him is he's not accurate. He's precise. He's a dart thrower. So I said what all said. Left-handed Drew Brees.
So we're going to use roaming Deadeye, which is the perfect pass accuracy while staying outside the pocket. I run outside the pocket a lot.
They take him. Now they got to
so that's actually really usable.
Build that offensive
yes, look at all the ability slots he has. This Burrow is absolutely beautiful.
And Mel, it's interesting when you look at this division now. Tom Brady no longer there. It is wide open. The Bills got their quarterback.
So right now the Chargers are on the clock.
The Jets have their quarterback.
Higher chance to evade the first sack by blitzing DB. This not stacking itself. Highlights the defender your opponent is controlling. Gutsy scrambler. Immunity to pressure while throwing on the run.
From an all-pro tackle and all-pro safety, so you can go out and take more tackles and safeties.
Okay, so we'll do Gutsy scrambler as well.
You can continue to build this.
We'll just stick with those for now. We'll add a few more once we get a little bit more training. So there's our first 99 on the team.
I mean, there's just so many things.
Thank God we didn't take the number 5 pick, because that would have really turned out bad. All right, so best lineup. There is the Joe Burrow in the lineup, guys. So you know what we're gonna do? Oh wait, they already activated Burrow. All right, okay. Oh well.
For the touchdown. And you see Steve Young.
Oh, and CeeDee Lamb goes in the lineup as well.
throws the absolute perfect ball to Jerry right there in the corner of the end zone. But don't underestimate
there's the Isaiah Simmons in the lineup as well.
Velocity here on the RPO, just throwing the
so we're going to probably just add on his balanced offense right now.
Again, a left-hander who can throw the ball the same way. Here throwing it to one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
So we're going to go chemistries. Balanced offense is honestly kind of the weirdest chemistry, but it's like my favorite chemistry because it's just literally balanced offense. So we're just going to add in times 3 for balanced offense for now. So that kind of upgrades him a little bit. We have to get all the way up to 30, which means we have to add a few more players to offense. We have to also upgrade the other players that we took them away from. But he's got 95 play action right now. If we keep upgrading balanced offense, then we will get our team. We will get Burrow, truck, lead block, run block, and broken tackle. So not much passing stats, but there are some good running stats that we can get. So hopefully we can get some more running stats. Let's just see what he's upgraded so far. So carrying is now 74, which is better because I like running with quarterbacks sometimes. Spin move and juke moves are 75 and 77. Short route run is 29. Play action is 95. And all of his passing stuff is pretty much the same. Throwing under pressure is 97. So, yeah. So now the Chargers on the clock. They got just under 2 minutes. Now their pick is in. So what I said, I hope that tackle is not... Let's see, do we have the pick now? Okay, no, we don't have the pick yet. It looks like they're going to take a little while to make the other players. So let's see, I'm going to want to have... So let's see, what did I get? I got a corner, I got a defensive end, so we need to take off the Superstar X Factor off of one of these players. Okay, so wait. So we either have Kyle Fuller or Ed Reed's Superstar X... Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off Kyle Fuller's X Factor, because I'm going to put the X Factor on Okuda. But Fuller has 3 X Factors, which is could be an issue. Okay, I heard who it is. You may not say it, so you better shut your mouth.
Shush.
But the Chargers, I'm just going to say, made a really smart pick there, and I will not take the Chargers pick. Why are they just showing all these players? They're just trying to waste time now? Okay, so you know what? We're just going to keep where we're at right now. We're going to wait until we get the other picks.
Pizza Hut moment there. We appreciate the draft moment from them.
Yeah, I talk with my fingers.
Mel, what are we thinking here with the Chargers? Does it have to be a quarterback?
I'm just waiting for the other players to be released now. So we will not be taking pick number 6 because I heard who it is. We do not want it.
Immediately, but
okay,
Justin Herbert at quarterback Oregon, he nailed the draft process. He's got to go somewhere in this area, and if he doesn't go here, then you get into that no man's land we've already talked about.
We don't care right now.
Yeah, listen, the 2 teams that were at the top of the draft that were
there's only a few quarterbacks that there are available. But there we go with that. Justin.
You mentioned they lost out on the Tom Brady sweepstakes. Philip Rivers is now a member of the Indianapolis Colts.
99 throw accuracy short I can really get used to.
As they move into that brand new stadium in Los Angeles with the Rams and getting a
okay, so let's see if they released any challenges, any more of the draft night challenges. Looks like they have not. They're just going to wait until picks 6 through 10 are done, or what? Okay, here's the pick.
With the 6th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon.
Okay, as you guys can see, they selected Justin Herbert from Oregon. That is a good pick for the Chargers, mainly because
one thing you won't have to worry about when you're talking about Justin Herbert's ability to understand the playbook. He carried a GPA of over 4 while earning a general science degree with a focus in biology. I think picking up naked blitzes might not be a problem. Amazing story for him. He came on as a 6th stringer.
That's a really good pick for the Chargers. I think that's probably one of the better picks that have made this draft, other than the Redskins taking Chase Young.
And the quarterback chart at Oregon. He has a lot of family history. He is a kid from Eugene, Justin Herbert, and a lot of Ducks in his background. Grandfather Roger ran track at Oregon State. His other grandfather, Rich, played football at Oregon. His father, Mark, played at Montana for the Grizzlies, football and track. His brother played at Montana State, a football player there. Patrick also played at Oregon. And then there's Justin, played basketball, baseball, and football in high school. And of course, Justin Herbert.
I've seen it.
Wearing a Joey Harrington jersey. And now Justin Herbert, another one of the Oregon quarterbacks going high in the draft.
So 280 is what Cam's going for and below.
Kurt, what do you think about Justin Herbert?
Haven't seen Burrow.
7.2 mil.
Well, there's a lot to like about
so let's see what Cam is going for.
We've seen the big arm. We've seen the ability to push the ball down the field. He's got athleticism.
So looks like Cam, his 99 is at 269.
So I love the mix. You know, when you're
Burrow is
a top 10 pick, you usually go to a team that's rebuilding.
Exceptionally a large
he gets to throw to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. He's got Austin Eckler in the backfield. I mean, he's got a good group of guys to build around. My biggest question with him, Mel, is getting the ball out quick. A lot of things that he threw, he seemed very measured, and he wasn't able to get the ball out quick.
Actually, what I was coming to look for, the Panthers are now on the clock.
Panthers pick is in.
And their pick is in. We're going to get the Kendall Fuller power-up. We're going to sell Casey Hayward.
Then Aaron mails it out of the end zone, doesn't even give his receiver
that's what
a chance.
We're going to do. We're going to need a lot of training. That's the issue.
Late in the year, but he won those games, and then he finished strong, and he had that really good Senior Bowl week. That was the key. Players gravitated to him down in Mobile. Everybody said, well, he's not that big-time leader. Well, he showed it there. The Combine, the same thing. He did have a pro day, which was very impressive. Oregon didn't have a ton of talent around them, and we got out of that offense. They went down to Mobile. He took to it really well, and I think that's what I think sealed the deal for him. Not just being a talent, but a kid that can prosper and flourish in the NFL.
Yeah, listen, everyone talks about what an introvert he is, but a lot of introverts have done very successful things. So we've had 3 quarterbacks go off the board. This is the 3rd time in the common draft era, going back to 67, that 3 quarterbacks have taken in the first 6 picks. Happy times all the way around in Eugene as the draft continues.
I've got all the necessary power passes. He'd be faster than Casey Hayward. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Casey Hayward out of the starting quarterback position, get a lot of training back cornerback. Get him out of that position. We're just going to upgrade Kendall Fuller so that we
Wouldn't it be nice
can get coin.
Some of your old friends, like the Chalupa Supreme.
I am Mr.
Beefy 5-layer burrito and more.
Okay, so we're going to downgrade. We're going to receive
$5 Chalupa Cravings box at Taco Bell's.
2,550.
It started with a few small...
I know we're only getting half back. We only get half of this training back. But we can still use this training to go towards other players. Not sure if they're going to give training to the new players coming out or not. But
they gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here. To help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Oh yeah, it'll be the next card that we got. So now we're up to 8,519 training. We are going to, right now, before any time runs out, we are going to post this Casey Hayward to the auction block for a smothering 117,000, get a ton of coin back, and go out and probably have to get a tackle or another end. 117,000, was it? We'll post it for 12. Yeah, let's see what see if we have a 92 speed on this card. They still haven't. Okay, so we have to give them until after 11 because they're gonna make all these cards like really special and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, the show was the...
So as you guys have seen, we do not have the number 1 pick anymore, but they say that number 2 will be before 11:59 p.m. So anytime before 11:59 tonight. I think it's the same for the 3rd. Okay, so 3 is before 10. It is currently 9:10 at night. So we could get the number 3 pick anytime now. Number 2 pick can be anytime before 11 o'clock. Let's see, what's 4? 4 is 11:59 as well. So we're probably going to be getting number 3 before any of them. So, yeah. But we are going to be... You know what? We're going to start upgrading that Kendall Fuller just for now.
Yep.
We know.
So I'm going to take that elite off. Use his training. I believe that I posted some Marvin Harrison for 1,900. Okay, so the Panthers pick is in for us. We are now back.
Since I was drafted, Carolina's been my home. And I've been so inspired by the heroes I've seen in the past few weeks. I recently launched 22andU to support healthcare workers throughout the Carolinas and my hometown of Denver. My partners at Lowe's Home Improvement jumped in to help me launch the program, and I want to say thank you to them and everyone's hard work.
So we get 2,200
Lowe's
for that.
300,000 associates are working hard to keep our homes working for us, because home is what unites us. Be safe and keep pounding.
That's Christian McCaffrey there. On April 2nd, Christian McCaffrey lost his own
upgrade Kendall Fuller. We're going to have both of the Fuller brothers fully upgraded here.
In Carolina. Glad you're with us for what is a really fun draft, the first virtual draft. And here we are in the Bud Light Seltzer virtual huddle. Teams have merged and come together. We have our regular gang of Lewis, Booger, and Mel Kiper Jr. from ESPN, and delighted to be collaborating with the good folks from the NFL Network this year, Daniel Jeremiah and Hall of Famers Michael Irvin and Kurt Warner. There is Matt Rule, the former Baylor head coach. He rebuilt Temple when he was there.
Okay, now we need
rebuilt Baylor in a short time when he was there, and now it's his job to rebuild the Carolina Panthers.
So we are at 90 overall right now with Kendall Fuller. We have his 96 card, which is good.
But Greg Olsen is out. He's in Seattle. Cam Newton, the quarterback, the number 1 pick in 2011. He's looking for a job. It is a new Carolina Panthers team.
We're still waiting for that
where
Casey
are they going? The pick is in 7th overall. Let's find out from Commissioner Roger Goodell.
So the pick is in.
Let's go, guys. Come on, Panther fans. With the 7th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Derek Brown, defensive tackle, Auburn.
Nice. Yes. One of my favorite players.
Okay, so that's actually a pretty good pick.
Brown,
I think I had that in a lot of my draft boards as well. So there's one choice for us, defensive tackle. I probably will not take that because I already have a 96 defensive tackle, and right now I need defensive end and a couple other positions around there.
Who you want your player to be
so
on and
probably not going to take that. Can you go on to...
He has political aspirations. He actually wants to be a
the golden tickets, Mitchell. Go for
his father, James, served in the Army and the National Guard and is now working with the local police department.
Go for crap.
And he said, I'm a man who starts what he finishes, and that's why he came back.
I could sell my whole team right now and still wouldn't have enough for
now we recognize Auburn defensive tackle Derek Brown connected to our armed forces in the salute to service.
The lowest golden tickets, 1.48
For Derek, mediocrity was just not acceptable. His father, James, instilled a strong work ethic in his life. James served in the U.S. Army from 92 to 96. He was stationed
RG3, there's the Gentry from today going for 4.3
mil. Parachute infantry regime. James also
got 99 catching traffic, 98 catching, and 99 specs. So there's like no way that he should drop it. RG3 is absolutely insane. O Jackson's like the best one out of all of these.
Always wanted to be involved and help make other people's lives better. Mel, he certainly had an impact on everybody.
Okay, so we're kind of just waiting at this point
went to school with at Auburn. He was the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. What are we getting on the field
for 117,000?
Went back for his senior year to get better technically, and I think you look at Isaiah Simmons, outside linebacker, Clemson.
I guess what we could do is just get some gameplay with that Burrow. We could try to get some gameplay.
Gave him the edge over Javon Kinlaw. South Carolina is the first defensive tackle.
We could sell the other guys
against the big game, against the top-level opponent.
Okay, so we're going to cancel this because we're going to put them for lower than 115K because somebody else posted their Casey Hayward apparently because they're ready for Okuda as well. Who would have thought? Okay, so 115K.
Derek Brown over Javon Kinlaw, in my opinion. DJ, Jay, was the consistency.
115-250. So the Cardinals pick is in. They're picking at number 8.
When I watched him, the thing that jumped out to me, I thought he played with tremendous effort in every game that I watched. I saw him pursuing plays all the way across the field.
All right, so we just posted our Casey Hayward back up now, so hopefully he will sell. How much are we training? 37, 37, I believe, and 37. So we're going to keep all these guys for now because the training is not worth it, really.
Inside the division where you're going to have going up against Tom Brady.
Okay, so that's who I'm going with. I just got the news of who the Cardinals are taking. That's probably who I will pick with my 6 through 10 pick. I'm going to wait until all these 6 through 10 picks go through, though, just to see if I want anybody else.
Inside to push the pocket. They drafted Brian Burns from Florida State, who's going to turn the corner.
So yeah, let's just get some gameplay with Burrow while we're waiting for some of the other of these players to come in.
Play sideline to sideline, just the way I like it, Louis.
Jesus Christ, Gus Malzahn's house looks like.
Yeah, look, he is a high-effort player for such a big man.
Hopefully that card will auction off at the same time.
When you think about the Carolina Panthers, the fact that they lost Gerald McCoy, no Vernon Butler, they need some beef in the interior.
And
there's
one
an
big
argument
dude
made for inside players over outside players when you're talking about pass rushers, since they have the shortest distance to go to the quarterback, and quarterbacks hate pressure in their face. There's no question that they need edge rush to go with Brian Burns.
I did not expect the Cardinals to honestly take him, but I'm still fine with. I'm so far done a pretty good job with who I've chosen to go with for my draft picks, because 1 through 4 actually worked out really well for me. Even though that I did get Isaiah Simmons, that still worked out pretty well for me.
I'll tell you this: the NFC South better get ready.
I didn't. You gave it away because they didn't know. But yeah, so the Cardinals took Isaiah Simmons, who I'm going to take. That's probably what I'm going to take, unless I get some kind of defensive end, another defensive end here. I'm going to take Isaiah Simmons because Isaiah Simmons is absolutely nuts. But as you guys can see here,
with the 8th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson.
Well, that is who I'm going to probably go with.
It is hard to fault anybody picking Isaiah Simmons. If you just listen to Dabo Swinney, his college head coach, he said he's just a beautiful football player.
Okay, so we're going to get some gameplay with Joe Burrow here, even though this is like
he checks some boxes that don't even exist. Not bad for a kid who was only a 3-star recruit out of high school.
Honestly, guys, I could deal with a 95 CD Lamb, even though his overall is going down. I'm probably going to look for a wide receiver somewhere.
The defensive coordinator went back to his home area of Kansas that he stumbled upon Isaiah Simmons, who was nicknamed Isaiah Slimmons when he was in high school. He did a little bit of everything. Here he is running with his running back on Clemson, Travis Etienne, and that's a dead heat. And the time he put in at the combine was absolutely spectacular.
So now Isaiah Simmons is off the board. Jacksonville's on the clock. They currently have 6 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. My thoughts on the Isaiah Simmons pick, he doesn't look too happy to be a Cardinal. Kind of hard to tell. But either way.
Daniel Jeremiah, he might be a true positionless defender in today's
Okay, so that's a really good pick from Arizona, especially since they needed a linebacker. Especially since Arizona needed a linebacker, that's a really good pick. If I'm an Arizona fan, I'm happy with that pick. That's actually a really, really smart pick from Arizona.
You might be lined up and covering George Kittle. The next week you might use him as a spy on Russell Wilson. You can blitz him from off the edge. You can even play him in the deep middle third.
We're going to see how they did with this Burrow and how they actually did with the design of his player and what he's wearing and stuff like that. So
yeah, DJ, he's a great prospect. You know, I talked to several defensive coordinators. While they love the idea of a positionless player, they can line him up as safety and corner. They said really, really simple. When you draft a guy this high, you want him in your front seven where he can impact the football game. So I look for Isaiah Simmons to line up front seven, outside linebacker.
Now that I finally figured out how to fall down, I do it all the time. So we're going to get some Joe Burrow gameplay here.
Put him in a position, Lewis.
Alright, so first of all, here is Joe Burrow. We've got all of his superstar X Factor stuff pretty much loaded up at this point. And what I've seen so far is a prolific passer. So let's just go to instant replay real quick and let's see what he looks like in terms of facial features and body features. So it looks like they got pretty much his attire for what he wore in college pretty much correct. The long sleeves and the wristbands on his wrists, they got that correct. The helmet is exactly the same helmet he wore. Probably could have done better with the face, but he doesn't really look like the actual Joe Burrow. But anyway, it's fine. It's just an early release of Burrow for Ultimate Team. So yeah, it's the first gameplay with Joe Burrow here. 99 overall Joe Burrow with Ultimate Team. Yeah.
No, you didn't pull it.
No, I pulled it. I got that $5 pack last week, whatever, that I asked you about, and there was like a 2.7% chance to get the #1 pick, and I just threw an interception. But you know what? It's fine. But yeah, it was like a 2.7% chance to get the #1 pick, and I got the #1 pick, which is nuts. So yeah, that wasn't really good luck. I didn't know why I threw it there, but oh well. The Jags pick is in. Yeah, he's got a good arm apparently because he's able to sling it.
Pick is in.
So the Jags pick is in for number 9. So we got 2 other choices right now. Looks like I'm going to go with Ian Simmons, but we will see what the Jags will take here. And I don't remember which team is after them. Not really sure who is.
So, you can really promise go to sleep? Not promise. Prove. So I can do my best for these guys? Yes. And those guys.
That was a huge work right there.
It's proven quality sleep from $9.99.
That's going to be a forward lateral, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Wait, did they get the ball back from that now? 4th and -33.
So he was past the line of scrimmage when he threw it. As they say, that's a no-no. Gotta be able to understand where you
We just got a glitch on live. You know what? We're gonna try CD here. CD Lamb wide open, boys. He's 95 overall CD Lamb. Our first look at Lamb as well. He gets a 37-yard touchdown. And I think I just kept my finger on my remote somehow. But there we go, Joe Burrow slinging the ball. That is nutty nuts. So let's see. So far we have got the Bengals that took Joe Burrow at 1. The Redskins, my Redskins, took Chase Young at number 2. The Lions took Okuda at number 3. The Giants took Andrew Thomas, which I do not know if that was the best pick, at number 4. The Dolphins take Tagovailoa at 5. The Chargers take Herbert at 6. Holy crud, did he fumble that football? Back to my kicker. The Panthers took Derek Brown at number 7. The Cardinals just took Isaiah Simmons at 8, which is who I'm probably going to take. We still have Jacksonville and Cleveland to choose between, which I believe I chose Cleveland as one of my draft picks. Or no, I chose Jacksonville. So I'm getting this next pick. So that's something to look forward to. I get the number 8 pick in the draft. So hopefully Jacksonville will take offensive line or defensive end here. Probably going to take Jedrick Wills, if anything, or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which would actually be kind of helpful. Is that Sammy? Hold on, I'm going to see before you guys.
You're watching the 2020 NFL Draft, presented by Lowe's.
Say thank you all to the doctors and nurses.
Okay,
we know
so
that y'all on the front lines and we're thinking about
this is before you guys have even seen it. We got CJ Henderson, another quarterback. So now we got 2 draft corners. So now we don't even have to upgrade what's his face anymore, which is amazing. Yeah, no, I literally put in all that training. Oh my god, I just realized I did that. Oh my god, dude. All right, well I guess I'm gonna quick sell. What's this? So work out plenty of training then. That actually works out really well. because I'm going to quick sell what's his face since he's not auctionable as we score. Alright, so Chauncey, or not Chauncey, why do I keep saying Chauncey? That was last year. CJ Henderson, the second corner off the board. So we get both of the corners in this draft. So we're going to see who Cleveland takes here. I think I had the number 8 pick, I'm pretty sure. Or no, I had the 8th pick. I had the 8th pick, which wasn't it Carolina, Derek Brown? So I don't have Chauncey. Okay. So I got a defensive tackle in Derek Brown. Alright, so I got a little messed up there. Because I got the 8th pick, which was, I was thinking that this was the 8th pick, but the pick before that was the 8th pick. So now I got a defensive tackle, which I'm fine with. So now I can keep upgrading Kendall Fuller. Yay. Unless I choose to take another cornerback here, which I will not because I need linebacker. I've got 95 and 96.
Jacksonville Jaguars select CJ Henderson, defensive back, Florida.
So I will not take Henderson unless the Browns take somebody that
CJ Henderson getting the phone
which I doubt it. I'm going to take Isaiah Simmons. I'm going to take and just take Simmons.
College ball at the University of Florida. His hometown's in Miami. He played running back in high school. In fact, his high school coach said, I could have put him at guard, and he would have been just fine. He received scholarship offers from a bunch of places, and last year was first team All-SEC. Mel, tell us a little bit about C.J. Henderson, who really broke out this year.
He had that ankle injury. We all kind of pampered him a little bit, Trey, but he is a talented
85 MVS made that catch. Bro, I love MVS so much. He's from USF, which is in Tampa, which is an hour from where I live, so I love MVS all my heart. But come on, that's bad.
Receivers after the catch and support the run. But in coverage, 6 interceptions in his career, 22 pass breakups. Even this past season, Lewis, when he had the injury with the ankle, he still finished top on the team with 11.
So Cleveland is currently making their pick now. Some kid is making the pick for Cleveland.
Looking for in the NFL.
Catch of the game for him there. The tight end position is now
no question about it. Look, the Jacksonville Jaguars no longer have Jalen Ramsey. They no longer have A.J. Bouye. And I can tell you this, C.J. Henderson is one of those types of guys. He's the kind of guy who can match up with your best wide receiver, and he will shadow him all over the field. And he did that this year. He followed Jamar Chase on just about every snap that he could when they played LSU. And he was a guy who's proficient playing both in press and in off. He has the feet to line up in press and shadow you at the line of scrimmage and then run with you downfield. He has the feet and the hips and the eyes to play from off and play all the different coverage packages that you want to play when you back off. He just needs to be more consistent at the catch point, but he is a guy who's supremely talented and fits the mold of the kind of quarterbacks that have played in Jacksonville.
So the Browns took Jedrick Wills. So you know what? I'm just going to try the challenges.
Well, there you see happiness all the way around.
The Browns took tackle Jedrick Wills. We already have a tackle
the Jaguars moved on from Jalen Ramsey
Andrew Thomas. So unless Andrew Thomas is not a left tackle, we probably won't take Wills anyway, but just in case.
In 30 years
it's iffy. That's a little. There's upsides and downsides to that. I think I'm gonna still take Isaiah Thomas or Isaiah Simmons. Why do I keep saying Isaiah Thomas? This is bad. I shouldn't keep saying Isaiah Thomas. I'm doing right now.
He had the tumor removed. They completed his treatment at home, and he now joins.
Still no pack. It looks like. Okay, but 6 through 10. We gotta wait until Andrew Thomas to make that decision here.
I'm so excited to help introduce the first round draft pick for my hometown Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
the wait is finally over.
10 o'clock.
Thank you to the NFL for your support of St. Jude.
It's only 9:30.
While my journey with cancer has been hard, I cannot say enough
still got another
about
2 hours.
St. Jude. It's always been amazing, and they have taken such good care.
Did they already take the house rules away?
And now back
I think that they took house rules. I already beat the house rules anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but... Okay, so looks like they still have house rules up. 35 gets 100 trophies plus 15,000 coins.
Thank you,
which I'm fine with. I'm missing out. It's not losing any sleep.
We're very proud to support you and St. Jude in the fight.
Yeah, it's the Browns.
And childhood cancer.
So here's the Browns pick for those of you guys that didn't hear me before.
Go get them. So I have the Browns pick with the 10th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. The Cleveland Browns select Jedrick Wills, tackle, Alabama. I hope you like it, Fletcher.
Well, not a surprise that they go offensive line. Jedrick Wells is off the board. Tua Tagovailoa called him the alpha male in the offensive line group for Alabama. And remember, Jonah Williams was the 11th pick last year for the Cincinnati Bengals at left tackle. A lot of people studying his tape kept looking at the right tackle saying, who is this guy at the right tackle? It's Jedrick Wells. And Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network. Remember, they got Jack Conklin in free agency. So now Baker Mayfield has potential bookend tackles to protect Baker Mayfield. What do we think about Jedrick Wells?
Okay, so
well, I think he's going to be the one making the move over to the left side with the Cleveland Browns. You'll keep Jack Conklin at right tackle because Jedrick Wills has the athleticism to be able to match up with the speed elite rushers he's going to see on that left side without any help from the tight end. He's outstanding knee bender. He can really roll his hips on contact in the run game. He's outstanding when he works up to the second level, but the Browns did not draft him for that. They drafted him for what he could do as a pass protector to help keep Baker Mayfield upright so they can get a fair evaluation on him going into the future. Mel, I don't know where you are, but for me, I thought day one as an NFL starter, Jedrick Wills was better equipped than any other tackle in this draft.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go that route early on. I think about where the Giants went with Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills, a right tackle, but he will be a left tackle, and he'll get the job done. He was outstanding in pass protection, only allowed 1 sack and 3.5 hurries all year at that right tackle spot. And he keyed that running game as well for Alabama. You think about Arizona, it takes Isaiah Simmons. Kyler Murray was hit a lot, so that was a little bit of a surprise that Simmons is there. They pass on the offensive tackle, allowing Wills to get down this far to the Cleveland Browns.
Mel, thank you. He got his good feet from his mom who played college hoops, but no surprise that we have an offensive lineman from Alabama being drafted. He's the 7th offensive lineman from Bama drafted under Nick Saban, including, as I said, last year, Jonah Williams going 11th to Cincinnati. It's his job to protect Joe Burrow. It's now Will's job to protect the also former #1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield.
You're watching the 2020 NFL Draft, presented by Lowe's.
And at this point in time, what else?
In nearly 100 years serving the military community, we've seen you go through tough times.
And every time, you've shown us you're much tougher.
Your heart, courage, and commitment has always inspired us.
And now it's no different.
So we're here with financial strength, stability, and experience you can depend on.
And the online tools you need, because you have always set the highest standard.
And reaching that standard is what we're made for.
Did someone get coins?
We didn't really need anybody.
Hairstyling was only about looks, but Head & Shoulder stylers do more. Strong on style, kind on scalp. Strong on style.
Oh, you little piece of
and kind on scalp.
Isaiah Simmons.
Introducing Head & Shoulder Stylers. Styling products that are both strong on style and kind on the scalp.
So we are still
When new smartphones are expensive, the family has to share one. Step up with Boost Mobile and get 4 free Samsung Galaxy A20 phones when you switch. Or don't and prepare to lose some furniture. Step up with Boost Mobile and get 4 lines for $25 per line per month. Or don't and remodel the living room. Switch to Boost Mobile and get 4 free Samsung Galaxy A20 phones, all on our super reliable, super fast network. As an essential service, Boost Mobile is committed to keeping you connected by remaining open.
Even the Batmobile don't hold the road like this. Get in! There's a pig bull!
Bad Boys for Life. Buy or rent today.
I can lift 15
Subway is still serving the subs you love. Delicious subs made fresh and easy to get for takeout or delivery. And now with our family takeout special, get a free footlong when you buy 2.
Savage. Darnell, I like you.
So we're going to sell Simmons for 37.
Now more than ever, you need technology you can rely on.
I'm a Dell Technologies advisor.
And if you're a small business, we're with you.
We are with you.
Estamos con você. We want to help.
So we'll be right here at home, answering your calls, providing support,
and standing by you every step of the way.
Okay, so we got 2 11 through 20s. Can you please give me like a small...
Idol makes history. We are determined to stay on the air with unprecedented performances from across the country, and your vote decides who makes it into the top 10.
May America take control.
American Idol, new Sunday on ABC.
Fuck that up again, and I don't take 4.
Oh man, I used to love stomping Goombas. We used to stay up all night playing.
We should make him a course.
Add like 10 more down here?
Hey, Dad, how many can you stomp?
You make this for me?
Yes. Going? Yeah, you got it! Let's go, Dad!
Visiting my old stomping grounds? That's my way to play. Nintendo Switch.
Probably didn't really backfire because I was going to sell the Isaiah Simmons, who's probably going for a good amount.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
So Shaq Thompson's going for 115K, but then the next 97.
Reminder, we are all in this together. Help us make a difference now. Huddle up for COVID-19 relief efforts and join players, teams, fans, and communities around the country in the NFL Draft-a-thon. If we unite behind the cause, we can provide relief for those significantly impacted by the pandemic. Every dollar counts. Visit NFL.com/relief to donate now. As we continue to work our way through the first round, we take a look at Mel's best available, brought to you by Lowe's. Mel.
See, Jerry Jeudy, no receiver has come off the board yet. And there's Javon Kinlaw, great, similar to Derek Brown, but not like Brown because of the lack of consistency. And Xavier McKinney, all he is a heck of a safety. And Michael, the playmaker, the wide receiver from still there. Who do you like, and who do you see maybe taking one of those wideouts first?
Well, Mel, I'm glad we're getting to the best part of this draft, and I talked about it earlier. It's the diversity we have in these wide receivers, and I love Jerry Jeudy. He's such a great guy inside. He plays in that slot.
That was one of the guys you had in your mock.
What I call gives you that stinky leg, takes it right back when he's running with the football.
Oh yeah, let's go.
He does everything.
So we got the KC Power Up and his regular, whatever we call it, the Team of the Year
but he
card.
also can run the whole route tree.
No, I'm good right now.
Do you just want this tree? And that's rug to third.
So I'm not going to tell you guys who the Jets took yet.
Anybody and
Don't worry, I'm
everybody
not.
trying to give you a Tyreek Hill kind of player.
So let's see. What was his next upgrade? We have 4274. No, I'm going to stop.
By the way, guys, we haven't had a trade yet. The last time we didn't have a trade in the top 10 picks.
No! Gotta try it.
We haven't had a trade.
They taste good.
2015, the first trade came around.
They actually taste good. No, they actually taste good.
Again, a speedster, and
then eat it.
His name to be called, as is C.D. Lamb, and again, also a big play waiting to happen.
Look at
These are and once they start to go, it could be they go on a run. Will they go here with the Jets?
Look at him. Look at how big he is. He's playing basketball.
With the 11th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Mekhi Becton, tackle, Louisville.
So the run on receivers is going to have to wait, but Mekhi Becton, ladies and gentlemen, human beings that large should not run as fast as Mekhi Becton did. At the Combine, 364 pounds, ran the 40 in 5.1. According to ESPN Stats and Information, that's the heaviest player ever to run a sub-5 140. And if you like people just abusing other humans, the Mekhi Becton case is for you. Why is he so big? Well, his mother is a caterer who specializes
everyone
in soul
saw
food.
that.
Okay, so 96.
Oh, the funniest thing ever.
In what his mom specialized in. In fact, he can do a little bit of everything. He has incredible feet. He was an amazing high school basketball
So probably going to be
player.
at 10 o'clock is when they're going to release this damn card. This is going to be really, really annoying.
The Combine, as you see,
got 20 minutes until 10 o'clock. So you know we're just going to hop back into...
But that's the Combine.
Wait, actually, you know what I'm going to see?
It is absolutely
how much training it
Again,
takes to get
6'7", 364 pounds, and he crossed the line at 5'1". Lewis, this is a guy who came to Louisville a little out of shape, but they worked on him, and then he's been working on people ever since.
He just keeps slowing the person down.
Yeah, look, he is a tremendous athlete.
Alright, you know what? We're gonna take Eckler just to sell him for training, because I know he probably goes for over 1,000, like almost 2,000 training, I think. 4,940 training actually helps quite a bit. But now we only have 1,799 coins. So that's the one thing that really sucks about that, is that we just turn coins into training, which now we're gonna turn into a player.
Waste my raisins.
So that's the 96 Fuller that we're going to put into the set.
With the way he's able to move at that time. But to me, this is all about Sam Darnold.
So we're going to upgrade Fuller.
You need to protect your franchise quarterback, and now the New York Jets.
Now we need another 4,000.
Sam Darnold knows his backside is protected. I tell you what, I think they got
so now the Raiders are on the clock.
And somebody that, when you watch how hard he's been working through this process, I know there was some concern about his weight.
Oof, we could sell Steven Hoska.
Is that Matt Gay?
So you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm just going to sell Hoska. We can deal with another kicker later.
It's Matt Gay, everybody.
Okay, so we're going to buy Matt Gay. Just because you want me to buy Matt Gay, we'll buy Matt Gay just for you.
Matt Gay, the gayest guy in the world.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Why his name is Matt Gay? Because he's gay.
And that's what he does against everybody you watched him on tape for Louisville this fall. This is a giant of a man. This is Mount Beckton.
Unless he goes for Blot, which right now looking like he might.
The reason is
DJ, I want to read something that you talk about where he's come from. By his strength coach at Louisville. He said when we got him, he was about 390 pounds,
for 700.
and he couldn't make it through warm-ups. It was gross. We knew he had potential, but over the next 7 months, he worked his belief off, and now you see what he's become. He is an amazing story.
The Raiders took Henry
So we'll see what
Ruggs.
happens here, and now we're taking a look.
I might have to jump on that, because Ruggs probably has some good speed in this as well.
We were supposed to be there, celebrating the potential of the Raiders, moving to
want chocolate?
2020, and
so Ruggs would be a good addition. I'm just going to sell Cortland Sutton really fast for 600 coins.
We're here sharing a message of hope and some of the iconic
because we're going to pick up at least an elite kicker.
Knock on wood if you're with me, John. Knock on wood if you're with me. And there's Mike Mayock, who spent a lot of years analyzing this draft.
What's up, everybody?
So let's go back to Daniel Jeremiah. Jeremiah, what are you thinking about what the Raiders may do with the
This is what I'm kind of annoyed about now, is that I chose 2 8s. Good thing one of them is non-auctionable, because I can, sell one for trade.
They need to find a...
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Detroit, and I'm at another football video at Riverview.
We gotta keep
Pineview.
We gotta keep track of who's selecting who.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel Jeremiah.
Okay, so who is 11?
CD Lamb going to the Raiders. We'll see what happens here. We believe that the pick is close to coming in. In fact, I can confirm that the pick is in.
Who is the 11th pick?
Does Daniel Jeremiah know what he's talking about?
Yeah, my head.
There are many first evers that are part of this draft, including the first ever official draft selection by the Las Vegas Raiders. And I've got it right here. So with the 12th pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. Congratulations, Raiders. Congratulations, Henry.
Well, there you see Henry Ruggs. Daniel, you nailed the position, but not the player. Henry Ruggs is a fascinating football player. Just so you know, he had 98 catches at Alabama. 24 of them went for touchdowns. In other words, 25% of the time when he caught the ball, he took it to the house. And when he celebrated those touchdowns, you also saw him throw up 3 fingers. That was for his friend, Roderick Scott. They played high school basketball together. And one weekend they were supposed to drive in the same car to a high school tournament. Ruggs was feeling under the weather, had the flu, didn't go. Scott was in a one-man car crash on the highway that trip and was killed in that crash. And Henry Ruggs celebrates his honor throwing up that 3 every time you see him score a touchdown. John Gruden, very happy that he's got the burner that ran the 4.27, as is Mike Mayotte. Hi, Mike. Make sure the dog is taken care of. But if you want to talk about an athlete, my God, watch what Henry Ruggs does.
I am actually probably going to take Ruggs. Unless CeeDee Lamb pops up. Even if CeeDee Lamb pops up, I'm probably still going to take Ruggs.
Rim obliteration. He was jumping from everywhere to throw it down at Robert Lee High School. So you know he can play hoops. You know he can fly. His mom once unofficially was clocked at a 4.2340. He can absolutely scoot Michael Irvin, and he can take it to the house no matter where he gets the ball.
Yeah, and we knew, Trey, that this was
so what I'm going to do is I already know I'm going to take a wide receiver, so I'll do this.
And let's remember now, the Raiders, what do they have to do? They have to face that thing they have in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill. So they wanted to match speed for speed. They wanted to match explosion for explosion. When they score, when Kansas City score, now the Raiders will be able to come right back and score fast. This kid can run fast, but he also goes up high and grab that ball, just like you saw him dunk in the basketball.
Alright, so...
You know, one thing about Ruggs, Michael, you talked about that speed drops, and I think the production wasn't up to the level of Jerry Jeudy, but you talk about 4 first-round receivers that Tua was throwing to.
That's my card.
And obviously this year Jerry Jeudy, and then next year Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. So a lot of talent, only one football. Ruggs, though, with that speed. I'm sure John Gruden with the Raiders. Cliff Branch had an excellent career in the NFL with that kind of speed and that kind of ability to go vertical and beat
Zell? I just want to Zell hours because I can get another train.
Lewis? The interesting thing about Henry Ruggs is this. He's just not a deep threat. What he really is, he's a catch and run threat. And they did a great job at Alabama of doing that, getting him the ball quick, and then letting him absolutely slice through the defense.
He is. I'm actually selling this for a lot less.
Type situations. He's a guy who catches the ball out of the backfield. He's a guy who can play all 3 positions.
You know what, I'm going to keep it at 105 because it's like right now looks like really delicious to anybody who wants to
I think the number one thing that he really can do is he can also
I passed 200.
I have a feeling he won't see
so I'm going to post this for 130.
How do I get a draft pick?
And look, I was talking to Mike Mayock this week. He talked about Josh Jacobs running for over 1,100 yards in the crowded box last year. You put Henry Ruggs on this field, you're going to scare safeties out of there. You're going to have a lot more room for Josh Jacobs to run. And also add Darren Waller at tight end. He ran in the mid-4.4s. Now you've got Henry Ruggs who ran in the mid-4.2s. This Raiders team got fast real quick.
Yeah, we're Donald Trump's.
Can we all just take a moment to acknowledge what we're seeing here? Michael Irvin, you of all people have to appreciate this. Henry Ruggs is swagging out in a robe. He's just chilling in a robe. Michael, that's what you wore in the pre-draft meeting.
Really? The Bucs know at one spot.
Tells you something about that wide receiver right there.
What did they get?
He's letting you know. Big plays, touchdown. He's right at home with that. That's why he's wearing his robe. He's making a statement early.
So the Bucs, there's news. The Bucs just traded with San Francisco for the 13th, which was originally Indianapolis. So now the Bucs have the 13th and 14th picks.
2010, no Alabama wide receivers were taken in the
So the Bucs get back-to-back picks here. I'm guessing probably
in the last 5 years, and quite frankly, I'm going to make a pretty safe bet.
I'm guessing the Bucs are probably going to pick either. They're going to take an offensive lineman and probably either a defensive lineman or a corner. I'd have to guess. So they're probably going to take. They're probably going to take Wirfs from Iowa and either a defensive end or a defensive lineman or a corner. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. They're going to go Wirfs and probably a defensive back. Or, yeah, because the Bucs need, believe me.
No one did in the top 10 picks for the first time since 2015.
Oh, they corrected it?
Now, where the 49ers
because the 49ers are probably looking for line as well.
With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady's Bucs are moving up one slot to come up in this draft. There's still a tackle on the board to get Tom Brady more protection. That would be a logical.
So the Bucs are going to take Wirfs now that the Bucs have traded the 49ers picks.
To get that pick, and that's the trade. Tampa to 13.
All right, Adam, thanks very much. Guys, let's talk about
this. So now the Bucs are on the board.
Because Obviously, Tampa Bay has plenty of weapons. They just signed Rob Gronkowski. He's going to be there ready to roll. It is protection, right? They gave up 47 sacks last year, Louis Riddick. I get it, some of those were because Jameson hung on to the ball too long. So yeah, but we've already seen a couple of tackles go off the board. It's understandable why they might get a little nervous thinking their guy might not
take offensive line, but
just kick my whole stand down.
Yeah, look, there's no question about it. They have to make sure that
I'm the best. I buy everything. I bought his game.
Is set for them on offense. Except for
You're welcome.
Another running back as well. But they have the perimeter weapons. They have the guys who can attack the middle of the field. They're pretty set at guard and center. They just need to take care of the right tackle position.
Pick it up.
Assume that they're going to try and solidify it here.
All right, so who's the best one left, Mel? We've seen Becton go off the board. We've seen Wills go off the board.
So they got Wirfs still there.
Surprisingly, we've seen Andrew Thomas. Is it Tristan Wirfs here for you, Mel?
It would be Tristan Wirfs. Of course, the right tackle at Iowa, but he did play left tackle.
We got 10 minutes until those cards are supposed to be out. So how many? Wasn't it picks like 1 through 8 or something?
There are times where he needs to play a little more attention to detail, but Tristan Wirfs, upside for Wirfs, I think.
So we get the 8 pick at 10. That one I'm going to sell. We get the 4 pick by 11:59.
But as a right tackle, he has a chance to be really
second pick by 11:59. And pick number 3 we get 10.
He got worse to this level.
Okay, so we get 3 and 8.
To become a Pro Bowl caliber player protecting Tom Brady.
By the way, is that the most perfect picture you see from Bruce Arians right there, the Buccaneers head coach? Everybody else is inside. He's chilling on his back porch, just, enjoying the weather in Tampa. Bruce Arians seems very comfortable in being Bruce Arians right now. So, again, is there anybody else? It was somewhat a surprise, as you see Jason Light there, the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, by the way, was part of the scouting department for New England when they picked Tom Brady, 199th overall in the 6th round in that draft in 2000. Is there anybody else, Louis, from your perspective, that would match up with what we're talking about with Wirfs here? Is there anybody that they could pick, if it is offensive line, that you could understand if it wasn't Wirfs?
No, not really. I mean, where you're picking at right here. Look, there aren't any more slam dunks in the NFL and in the NFL draft anyway. But really, when you're picking where they're picking right now, you're really looking for the guy who's sticking out on your board. And Tristan Wirfs is one of those interchangeable guys as far as being able to go from the left side to the right side. He did it in the course of games, and there's no question that down here at this pick, this is the best player that's available for them at a position.
Can you pick up this raisin?
Probably a slam dunk for him.
Louis, thanks. Before we announce this next selection, we have some very special guests
piece of cheese,
out of Tampa Bay from the Air Base.
Sold. Yeah.
I'm Staff
So you know what that means? We can finally finish.
Deployed to
It's 9:51.
And we're happy to be a part of this year's NFL Draft. Let's see who gets to wear the Buccaneers uniform. Throwing it to you, Lieutenant Colonel Caldwell. Go Bucks!
Hey, NFL fans. We're the airmen from the 28th Expeditionary Air Refueling Squadron, stationed out of MacDill Air Force Base, Tampa Bay, and currently deployed to Al Udeid Air Base, Qatar. We are proud to represent Tampa Bay and our home team, the Buccaneers. Now back to you, Commissioner Goodell. Go Bucks!
Yes, it is. 4.
The pick is in.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Caldwell. And thank you to all of our service members for your courage and sacrifice on behalf of our country. The San Francisco 49ers have traded the 13th pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With the 13th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Tristan Wirfs, tackle, Iowa.
Well, now we're seeing this run on offensive linemen, and as you see Tristan Wirfs there getting the phone call right there and a little bit of thumbs up. Another freakish athlete. He's 6'3", 322 pounds, ran a 4.8540. He was raised by his single mother, Sarah, and he was going to walk with her down the red carpet in Las Vegas. That didn't happen, so he brought the red carpet to her. This was this afternoon. By the way, can we just take a moment to honor the t-shirt that she's wearing? Respect.
All right, so now we got 97 overall Kendall Fuller at
Christian Wirfs has for his mother, walking her down.
I honestly like this front art better. I don't know how many of you do too, but I like that front art better.
Christian Wirf's job is now going to be protecting Tom Brady. But this is a guy who was a state wrestling champion. By the way, had to shed some 37 pounds to get down to the 285 minimum. He also won the Drake Relays as a senior in both the shot put and the discus. He won the discus title 3 times and the shot put twice. He also set a hang clean record at Iowa. And if you know anything about the strength program at Iowa, that is something people take very seriously. And oh, by the way, explosive? Yeah. And if you're a visual learner, this will help you see how explosive he is. Christian, jump out of the pool for us if you don't mind.
All right, so our corners are going to be stacked now.
Jumping out.
We're gonna have him with the Chiefs.
About 3.5, 4 feet of water.
What you call it? Chemistry.
The landing. Mel, he's an athlete. What do you see when this athlete is on the field?
We're not going to add any other chemistries to him right now. We have an 894 training, which is not bad. We only have 99 coins, which is a big problem. So we have both of the Fuller brothers. Kendall will go to slot, which Okuda will either be CB1 or 2. What time is it?
Balance at times is a little bit of an issue as well. As I say, Kirk Ferentz coaches them up. Now in the NFL,
packs should be almost here. Because we got 5 minutes before 10, and those packs are supposed to be here before 10.
Obviously, I didn't think he's here at this point. Well, everybody is for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady.
Why did we just go down to 92?
Tom Brady great and keeping him upright and not letting anybody hit him, and that's what Wirf's job's going to be, Booger.
Without a doubt, Mel, and people talk about this guy being a great athlete for an offensive line. Let me tell you, he's a great athlete for a football player. He ran faster than most tight ends did at the combine. And when you look at how the run game is
right guard,
today,
left
the zone
tackle.
scheme, you need athletes on the offensive line.
I don't know if we can get it right tackle or right guard.
And also,
I don't even know if there's any right guards in the
you're going to need that guy that has a strong
so that could be an issue. Although we could trade, we're going to sell Isaiah Simmons, one of his Isaiah Simmons cards, and
Buccaneers got a steal here at this pick with
Andrew Thomas if he's a right tackle.
Well, again, he's the...
You could probably get Mekhi Becton
5th Iowa offensive lineman
and Henry Ruggs.
First round since 2004. There you see Christian Wirfs, the draft. Nervousness.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to get Mekhi Becton
Bruce Arians and Jason Light hope they have their guy. Bruce is fired up as we continue with the first round of the draft.
They're getting Bruce Arians.
I said there is Bruce Arians.
Where?
She's like the ultimate mom.
Hopefully Chase Young
make sure the kids are good. She makes sure the house is safe and sound enough for me to just focus on my job.
I know this is what he loves to do, so why wouldn't I want to help him prolong his career or help him not have to worry about it?
Oh, something that Casey Hayward just sold.
I got it.
Yay, 95,000 coins. There we go. Okay, so that's a start for the upgrade, or to get new players. I love the yoke. You don't like the yoke?
No.
I know I'm weird. I like the yoke.
More than ever, her love keeps you centered. Show her how much she means to you with a gift.
How do you stand that?
Happy Mother's Day.
From it's like eating refried beans.
I'm going to get another.
What? We need to silence our phone. Who knows where that button is?
I forgot.
Everyone knows that. It happens to all of us. We buy a new home and we turn into our parents. What I do is help new homeowners.
I got another Donald Savage.
Where's my pencil?
I don't know where your pencil went.
Can you give me the pencil?
You have too many. Who else?
So I need to write down who's being taken here so that I remember.
Those are... Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
Look at that.
Snap. How's it taste? So thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating.
Okay, do you want a Donald Savage one of these? Just Savage one of them?
Snapped. So good we may
So 13 was Wirfs.
No, it was Durfs. Ready? Donald Savage.
We're not going to take these at 14.
Alright, just 8.
We already picked 14. Okay. So at this point, we have 3 minutes until those cards are supposed to come out, and they said before 10 o'clock. So they're probably going to release them at like 9:59.
Yeah. 9:59. 9:59, 1 second to go.
We pop out as a party. I don't know why I'm singing that right now.
I pop out as a party. I want to get
at your party.
Sorry.
Going up.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna sell Simmons. We're gonna get a lot of coins back from this, actually, too.
Big day. Closet organizing and jigsaw.
We're gonna sell Simmons. We're probably gonna sell. Or no, we're gonna sell Simmons. Yes.
Pasta or wings.
I can just give me all the yolk.
One box. Choose contactless delivery or new curbside pickup at pizzahut.com. First up is this exquisite bowl of
You know what the yolk is?
onion dip. I'm going to start the bidding.
Like milk cow turds.
That's what turns into the chick.
$6 over there. Do I hear $7? $7 in the front. $7 going on.
That's what turns into the baby bird.
Sold to the onion lover in the front.
It's the embryo of the baby bird.
Lot number 17. A spin.
Birdie! Get out of here! Hatch, Birdie!
It's dead now. It's all in my mouth.
Come on! Should've let the birdie free.
Banking guidance.
Probably like a baby chick that's gonna hatch in your butt. It's gonna come growing out your butt.
Okay, now it's 9:58. So I don't know when these packs are gonna freaking come.
Microsoft Teams official collaboration platform of the NFL. John Lynch is casually comfortable in his setup, the general manager there, and of course, you would
it's 9:59.
too.
I got Kinlaw.
Defending NFC champs with the job they did last season.
They took Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina.
The 49ers did last year was trade late in the season for Emmanuel Sanders, and of course he has moved on to New Orleans. And there was Oklahoma wide receiver C.D. Lamb.
9:59. Go, 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 go.
Consider him to be the best wide receiver in this draft class, but Henry Ruggs was the first to go. And now we're looking at Jerry Jeudy. Our own Todd McShay says Jerry Jeudy is the best route runner at a wide receiver he's seen in all his years of studying film. So
what's taking so long?
We'll be looking here at a wide receiver to replace what they lost in Emmanuel Sanders. Let's go to Michael Irvin here. Michael, what do you think? If it's one of these two, which one do you like better?
Yeah, Trey, and this is what I love, Trey. I talked about
I just think I've been drafting so many Chiefs players. Look at this.
And you talk about Jerry Jeudy.
Sammy Watkins, Kendall Fuller, Chris Jones, Mitchell Schwartz, all Chiefs players, all in a row.
60% in the slot. Scores 7 touchdowns out of his 10 in that slot. It's all about what San Francisco needs right here in this spot, Trey.
All right, we'll see what happens there. And again, you take a look at Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Really enjoying this virtual draft, I think, more than most people are. But again, San Francisco plays in the toughest division, arguably, in the NFL right now, the NFC West. As we said, they lost Emmanuel Sanders. There are some concerns about offensive line as well. But the pick is in. Let us see what San Francisco did as they moved one slot back so Tampa could move up. Where is San Francisco going?
With the 14th pick.
Before 10 p.m. Eastern on the 24th. Today is the 24th.
Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle, South Carolina.
Well, perhaps another surprise, but Javon Kinlaw is one hell of a football player. His story is also amazing. But what you need to know about him is how he grew up. He split time between his mother and father in Goose Creek, South Carolina, as well as in Washington, D.C. And he spent some of that youth homeless in the nation's capital, where he would ride the metro because either it was colder than it was inside or hotter than it was outside. And he has been a remarkable story, talking about the things that he went through as a kid. He related to that sometimes in Washington, walking over dead bodies to get to where he lived. Todd McShay said he showed up at the Senior Bowl, didn't even work out, and didn't even play, rather, just went through some drills and made a bunch of money. And there you see the reaction of his father. Javon Kinlaw is now a member of the San Francisco 49ers. His story is absolutely remarkable. Booger, his story is incredible, as is what we saw on the field at South Carolina.
14, we get
without a doubt. You talk about the rich getting richer. He reminds me a lot of Richard Seymour. Long, big, and powerful. And the San Francisco 49ers are going to love it. Can he play with leverage? When you're a tall player, you got to be able to play with leverage, extend your arms, control the offensive lineman. He can do it with with the best. The guys that I played with a long time ago, Richard Seymour, doing the same thing. Defensive linemen being able to use both hands and control the offensive linemen, they do it well. But this is now a passing league. Can you be a 3-down player?
No, I don't like the
Javon Kinlaw showed outstanding pass
take a bite out of him? Oh my God, the chick!
Just like Richard Seymour.
The chick!
Long arms, long levers.
He just ate the chick. I don't have another.
John Lynch, they traded away DeForest Buckner.
What?
Now they get Javon Kinlaw Mel, and this defensive line is going to be dominant.
He farted.
Talent-wise, 6'5", 324. Remember, he was 340 early on, managed his way down to 324. Played through a hip injury in 2018. This past year, first 5-6 games, he was dominant. Actually, 5 sacks.
Denver's on the clock.
Games, only won the rest of the way, and that's where Derek Brown, week in and week out, was dominant.
Joe Burrow gameplay.
Kinlaw had that great start. Then teams adjusted, and he wasn't quite as much of a factor, but he's got incredibly long arms, huge hands, DJ. Physically, if you could draw up a defensive tackle, Javon Kinlaw would be that guy.
Yeah, he reminded me of Marcus Stroud when I watched him, Mel. And this is somebody, when you put on the Georgia game and the Alabama game, the best opponents they played, he was dominant against those quality offensive lines. So that's what jumped out to me. And, Lewis, I just add one thing here with this selection. This is outstanding by John Lynch. You trade DeForest Buckner, you get the 13th pick. You trade back to 14, get an extra pick, and you replace DeForest Buckner at the same position with a younger, cheaper player. John Lynch putting that Stanford education to good use.
Without a doubt. Look, it's great value for them. It's smart team building, and they're staying true to who they are, DJ. They're a team that likes to build it front to back, inside out, on the defensive side of the football in particular. And Javon Kinlaw, you're right. When he went up against the best offensive lines in college football, that's when he really raised his level. And it wasn't just at the point of attack. It was chasing people down the field. I remember in that Alabama game, just seeing him run downfield and just put haymakers on running backs, catching the ball out of the backfield with his extra effort. That's the kind of thing that epitomizes San Francisco this year, and he's going to fit right in very well.
Well, Dad is feeling it right now for the Kinlaws. And oh, by the way, sometimes things just work out perfectly. Kinlaw actually wanted to go to San Francisco, saying they're just a wonderful group of guys, a talented group that works together. They work together for the same goal, not individual achievements. And that's to get the win at the end of the day. That's something I want to be a part of.
They're going to start to take
Javon, you are Javon Kinlaw, now a San Francisco 49er. We'll be back in 30 seconds after a quick word from Verizon.
Remember, that was less than we weren't able to stream anything, I think they'd be lost.
We are all home right now. That's why Verizon is giving you more of the entertainment you want. Haley is usually watching a TV show, and McKenna is almost always listening to music.
We love Verizon.
So I get the shows I need when I need them. Now, unlimited plans come with your favorite artists on Apple Music, shows and movies on Disney Plus, and over 70 top channels of live TV with YouTube TV.
Music plays a huge role in our family. That's how we connect.
Plans start at just $35, so your family can mix, match, and save. Shop online today, only at Verizon.
All right, glad you're with us as the first round of the 2020 draft rolls on. The Denver Broncos are sitting here at 15, and we've only had one wide receiver go off the board. John with the power flex right there. Give me all the Super Bowl trophies, put them over there, and make it a wide shot so everybody can see. I mean, I respect a good friend of mine said, when you have the opportunity to stunt, and John Elway just did that. And of course, there's Vic Fangio waiting to go into his second season as the Broncos head coach. The pick is in for the Denver Broncos. Let's see where the Denver Broncos go.
With the 15th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. Congratulations, Jerry.
Come on, Broncos. And there you see Jerry Jeudy and family waiting to hear the official news, but it is done. Jerry Jeudy is a Denver Bronco. And again, according to our Todd McShay, maybe one of the best route runners he's ever seen. By the way, real quickly, you see that straight A's his senior year of high school? He had already done. He was already going on to early admission at Alabama. He was at an all-star high school game, and he got his report card, and one of them was a B+. He said, no, that's wrong. I got the A. The teacher went back and recalculated. Turns out it indeed was correct. And Jerry Jeudy was a straight A student. But he felt with some tragedy.
By tomorrow.
In November of 2016, Jerry Judy's 7-year-old sister, Aaliyah, passed away. Aaliyah was a miracle baby and had suffered health complications since birth. Following her death, Judy posted a photo of Aaliyah with an uplifting message. I love you, sis. You're in a better place now. I swear I'm going to make it for you and Mommy. R.I.P. Aaliyah. Jerry's daughter, Journey Aaliyah, was born on March 27th. And there you see it. Jerry Judy going to go work with John Elway, the quarterback there, Drew Lock, Portland Sutton, the other wide receiver on the side of that ball. Michael Irvin, take us through what you like about Jerry Judy's team.
Right there, used to be best player in the team.
I love this thing. I tell you, when you hear people talk about how great he is at running routes, that's because he transitions so well in and out of cuts. This guy is incredible at the line of scrimmage. That's the #1 thing that he's going to have to work on, is getting off that ball and being able to get deep. He ran a 4.4
already
to combine. That's right. He gets his work done in the slot. I already told you, 60% of the time,
don't worry, guys, we can go to bed anytime soon.
And he made 7 touchdowns out of 10. Now, when you line up Courtney Sutton on the outside, and you put Jerry Judy in the slot, that is a disaster for any defense when you're trying to stop Drew Lock in the Denver Broncos. Great pick for the Denver Broncos right there, Trey.
Well, we also don't have to wake up and get ready for work tomorrow. We can wake up and have to go to school for a few hours tomorrow.
So it's not like he has to have problems things in his head. All he has to do is screw bolts on and take things out. Or he could do what Luke did and decide to both. Just feel like he was working, then he gets struck by lightning.
Does he get his guys going?
Yeah, they certainly are. By the way, Alabama has 2 wide receivers in the first round now. It's just the 5th time in the common draft era since 1967 where 2 schools, or 1 school, had 2 wideouts go in the first round. John Elway is very happy right now.
Yeah, we will have some gameplay with the new draft players tomorrow as well. We'll make sure we get some gameplay with those guys.
I'm gonna do it on my account too.
So I think at this point, this is definitely a sea change.
The amount of changes that have happened in medicine in the last 2 weeks are more than I would have expected in like 2 decades.
We have rolled out teams across our network, and we went from essentially no televisits to approaching 5,000 visits a day in the last week. That is pretty amazing.
You connect with them via a video visit. The partner actually can interact and hear the counseling that's done.
He's just so surprisingly intimate.
And I can actually share my screen and show the x-rays.
5-10 minutes and we were done, and she could go outside and play with her kids.
From the clinical aspect, it allows us to continue to take care of the patients.
It's really moved some mountains in our network. The team has been a huge part of that.
Completely agree. This is going to be a game changer for medicine.
Good job, yes. Take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
You've already got a home team. You don't have to go to my channel. Just look up my Willie. Just go on my video. It should be on your. Go to my channel or go to your channel. It should be in your subscriptions.
300,000 members of the team working hard to keep your home.
Just go to your channel. Just press on your channel. Go where it says my channel.
I've never had Burger King nuggets before. It's a lot better than I expected.
And the best part is, they're 8 for only $1.
What? These are good. It's crispy and it's golden. When you see an ad like that, you don't expect them to taste this good.
Yup, 8 delicious nuggets for just $1. Your way better.
So hold on, it looks like there's new draft heroes players that came out, apparently. Turn down the volume. Turn down the volume, Mitchell. Please. Thank you. Intercept 350 passes. There we go, Pat Tillman upgrade. Vito's typing.
Did you just buy a player?
No, I got his upgrade.
Oh, look. You're looking at me right now. No, stay looking at me.
Not looking at you.
Look.
Okay, almost done with my Spanish stuff. I'm not trying. Okay.
Oh, the egg yolk.
Okay, ultimate challenge.
HP the egg yolk. HP the egg yolk.
Yeah, I'm done with them. What the fuck with those? Those are horrible challenges anyway. But yeah, apparently they dropped a new draft here. So
he was showing off his setup like 3 weeks ago. So we'll see what the Falcons are doing. We know their head coach, Dan Quinn, is a guy who built his reputation off speed defenders. That's what got him the Atlanta head coach.
So we got Chase Young tonight, early. 98 overall left end Chase Young.
So where will Dan, Arthur, and Thomas go as we reach the halfway point of the first round of the draft?
That's one of them. Cortland Sutton just sold as well. So here's the number 3 pick, which was Okuda at corner.
With the 16th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select A.J. Terrell, defensive back, Clemson.
So the Falcons take Terrell from Clemson.
Well, there you see A.J. Terrell and family, and it gets emotional pretty quickly, ladies and gentlemen. And A.J. Terrell announced his presence with authority in the 2018 college football championship game.
The right side.
Scored the first points of that game with a pick six.
We got the right side.
Terrell, by the way, changed his major from business to sociology because he said, I like to size people up. I like to understand why they think the way they do. Mel, he sized up people pretty well as a college player at Clemson.
That just dropped.
Well, yeah, yes, the kid, he had some really strong games. Go back to the Alabama game in 2018, final game of the year, returned an interception, 44 yards for a touchdown in that game. Talking about 8 tackles as well in that football game. Then you go to the final game, you think about what happened there against LSU, where he had trouble there in coverage. I think you look at A.J. Terrell, he has the length, he has the recovery speed. It's a little grabby. That's going to result in penalty flags in the NFL. Fast for the clock, recovery speed at times looks like it's an issue, even though I say he does have that outstanding speed.
But we got everybody else.
Has to become more of a wrap-up tackler, and I think when you look at him, Lewis, the talent's there. Needs a little bit more coaching.
I'm watching you live now.
He just needs to be more consistent, Mel. Look, this is a guy who really can get up on the line of scrimmage and challenge you in press man coverage. He has good route recognition. It's really the last third of the down is where I struggled with him as far as his ability to then go ahead and consistently.
How many likes do we have now? 4. Nice. Yeah, limited time paid.
That's where he got into trouble in the national championship game against Jamar Chase. He struggled down the field playing strong at the catch point, but if he can improve that, he'll help the Atlanta Falcons secondary.
See, compared to what Joe has.
All right, so A.J. Terrell goes to the Atlanta Falcons, which means
trash.
How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, and Jerry Jones. Jerry. Very impressive setup for the virtual draft there as the Cowboys owner, president, and GM is there. But they're trying to reverse a trend. It's been a while. The Cowboys' last conference championship appearance was in 1995, and they went on to win Super Bowl 30. And these are the teams without a conference championship appearance since 96. And as you can see, the Cowboys are the only one on that list. They're the proud owners of 5 Lombardi trophies. But wait a minute, let's go back to that cartoon. Who was that on the right? On a horse? Michael. Michael! Now, you don't look very comfortable there in cartoon form on the horse. So, are you okay with us putting you on the horse like that?
Here's Kuda.
Trey, remember, I'm from Miami. I'm a city boy all the way.
So you know what we're going to take.
But I must admit, when I did get into Dallas, you start falling into the cowboy ways. I started wearing cowboy boots. So this next pick, no matter where he comes from, when he gets here, he will be like the Cowboys. He'll get in some boots and on a horse also.
I do think we need to have a comment about the bowler hats that you and Dion wore after that last Super Bowl. That was a fashion statement, my friend. I will never forget. We showed you Jerry Jones. There's Mike McCarthy, maybe a little close to the camera. As you can see, Mike McCarthy had the year away, obviously after being let go in Green Bay, but he was a very successful coach. They won Super Bowl 45. By the way, interestingly, in Dallas, 31-25 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. 9 playoff appearances in 13 seasons. Lewis, let's start with you when we look at the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, they lost Byron Jones in free agency, making that mega deal to go to the Dolphins. They have needs on the back end of that secondary. They may have some needs on the edge rush. But where do we see them going here? Because I think a lot of the corners that the Cowboys might have been looking at are now off the board.
On camera. We are.
Yeah, you really think about it. In the middle of the field, someone who can play a little bit of safety, play a little bit of linebacker.
I'm the king. Pop. This is my team. I got 90.
He's a really cool dude.
In the middle of the field and give them some versatility. Their defensive packages are concerned. He's a guy
I got $1 million.
Energy, tremendous tackler, good cover skills, very instinctive. I think he's the kind of guy who would look perfect with that Dallas Cowboys star on his helmet.
All right, look, he's sitting there for him.
Okay.
Go ahead, General.
Real quick, Trey, when you look at this team right here with the Dallas Cowboys and the decision that they have, because if they took CeeDee Lamb, they'd be taking it right out of the lap of a team in their division with the Philadelphia Eagles having a huge need at wide receiver a couple picks away. So that's another interesting storyline to keep an eye on with the Cowboys. I know they have those needs on defense, but CeeDee Lamb would be pretty tempting.
Chemistry, we're going to have balance D.
This is CeeDee Lamb as he's waiting to hear his name called. Daniel, that's a really interesting point, right? Because you want to build your team, but sometimes you can do things to make sure that you don't help an opponent, a guy you'll see twice, a team you'll see twice. And Mel, listen, from the value of the pick here in terms of where we are in the draft at 17, are you surprised Lamb is still there?
A little bit. I think you look at a guy like CeeDee Lamb, inside is 50% of his production, outside 50%. DJ mentioned Dallas. I had Lamb going there in a mock earlier, one of the earlier mocks, because of that third receiver being an issue. You got Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, that third guy, whether it's Lamb, Justin Jefferson would make sense. Obviously, I go with Lewis with Xavier McKinney. Love him as a football player. Antoine Winfield Jr. is obviously a kid, playmaker at Minnesota. And they need maybe a center at some point where they look at Cesar Ruiz from Michigan, who played guard, then was an anchor of that Michigan line the last 2 years. But I think that third receiver, if you want to do that, it's tempting here with Lamb or Jefferson.
Well, it looks like they're having a good conversation. Smiles on the faces right now between Mike McCarthy, the head coach, and Jerry Jones, the owner, president, GM, and master of conversation for the Dallas Cowboys.
There's a boot hole
There's a lot of ways this team could go, and this is a team that has their franchise quarterback, although not fully signed, has the running back. That offensive line that we looked at from a few years ago is not the strength that it was, but the pick is in, and we don't have to guess anymore. Let's find out where they go.
Cowboys pick.
With the 17th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma.
Well, Dak Prescott just got another weapon to throw to, and CeeDee Lamb is a weapon in every shape of the word. By the way, his first full name is Sedarian. He was trying out for 4th grade football, and the coach couldn't say Sedarian, so I said, I'm just going to call you CD. By the way, he wears the number 32 chain in honor of his uncle, Chester Ramirez, who passed away on a business trip when he was in China a few years ago. But CeeDee Lamb is a big play waiting to happen, and there you see the reaction as CeeDee Lamb is coming off the board here. Michael Irvin, we're talking about a player at Oklahoma that was a big play almost all the time he touched the ball.
Get it. No, get it on my account.
Yes, he is. And this is a perfect pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I know they wanted to shore up the defense, but they know that I knew, talking to them, that Lamb was the first receiver they had on their board. And they talked about if he falls, they would have to snatch him up. Let me tell you what's great about this, because you know they got Amari Cooper and they got the young guy outside, Williams outside. But what this kid does, he can play in that slot position that was vacated by Randall Cobb. He played 70% outside last season, 30% in the slot. But he had productions from both spots. 7 touchdowns outside, 7 TDs from that slot, Mel. So he can play in the slot, and when he has to, he can go outside and make plays also.
Career catches, Michael, of at least
you couldn't have not expected that. Freaking dart.
Two things.
Here's the other one. Scott. She loves to stand there. Baby.
He can do that. He's a kid who's very explosive. He'll take that big hit, hold on to the football.
She's chunky.
She's so cute. This is how bored we've gotten playing this and just waiting for everything to happen. And we're now bringing in the cats.
Backflip.
Just let her go.
Michael Irvin's gonna love this.
Let's go, guys.
Lamb forced the most missed tackles as a pass catcher among wide receivers last year. Lincoln Riley is happy another Sooner is off the board. He ranks first in only with 24 career receptions of at least 40 yards and 6 career games of at least 160 receiving yards. Jerry, getting congratulations all around. Michael is happy
we're gonna pick a 95 left guard.
Stay with us.
We're gonna go out and buy our left guard real quick. Yeah, now she's hissing, so I would stop.
Here's the thing about managing multiple clouds.
Keep going, aren't you? Yeah. Mitchell, stop harassing
when you've got
the cat.
public clouds and private clouds and hybrid clouds.
Can I have a handshake?
Oh, come on.
Good job, handshake.
But now, there's the Dell Technologies cloud.
I'm tired.
Powered by VMware. A single hub for a consistent operating experience.
And this is my mom.
All your clouds. That should clear things up.
Yeah, come on.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line.
Hi, Lion.
Online. To the ones keeping the shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and
Here she is!
From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running. Thank you.
One of the perks of having a little brother who never runs out of energy.
Sometimes the front lines.
So now our biggest needs are right guard, right end, right outside linebacker, and wide receiver. So we got our right outside linebacker in Isaiah Simmons.
Serving part-time.
So now we need right end, right guard, and wide receiver. So
go to work.
I'm going to take Henry Ruggs. So we're going to go 12 with
It is what it is.
Ruggs.
The mindset going into the draft hasn't changed. Come out on the other side of this thing, a better version of you.
Biggest thing is just taking steps every day, improving every day.
Yeah, we're taking 12, which is Ruggs. That's one of our 2 picks.
We need to feel alive.
We got slot receiver.
Maybe even to be alive. It's a triple cross.
And we're going to see if there's anybody 18, 19, or 20 that
It's getting tribal
fits
out
either
there.
defensive end
I don't like this game.
or...
It's not a game.
Yeah, defensive end. That's what we need really.
That's right. I am a monster.
If not, I'm going to take Kentlaw, which is defensive tackle.
Thanks for sharing your DIY haircuts. Thanks for sharing your savage moves, and especially your awkward ones. Thanks for sharing your cute kids and your adorable pets. Now it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for both current and new customers. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. So thanks again. One good share deserves another.
See Thomas's stats because I didn't see
Thomas's stats. We told you the Last Dance was coming last Sunday, and you showed out to the tune of over 6 million people watching the first 2 episodes. And we're going to bring them back. Episodes 3 and 4 coming this Sunday. They've got this whole promo card they want me to read. I'm just going to read you one sentence. Highlighted by Dennis Rodman. I mean, you don't really need to sell it any more than that. You're going to see all the crazy stuff Dennis Rodman did while winning championships with the Bulls. That's enough. Meanwhile, we are continuing here. What a night it's been, and we're all in this together in this virtual draft. Help us make a difference now. Huddle up for COVID-19 relief efforts and join players, teams, fans, and communities around the world in the NFL Draft-a-thon. If we unite behind this cause, we can provide relief for those significantly impacted by the pandemic. Every dollar counts. Visit NFL.com, relief to donate now. Time to check in with the Bud Light Seltzer Virtual Huddle. Delighted to be working through this evening with Mel Kiper Jr., Louis Riddick, Booger McFarland, and our great friends in collaboration from the NFL Network, Daniel Jeremiah, you know him as Move the Sticks, and a couple of Hall of Famers, Kurt Warner and Michael Irvin. All right, the Dolphins' second draft pick is in the first round. Let's find out.
Dolphins' second pick.
Oh, we do? Okay. All right, so we got some time to figure out here what they're going to do with the Miami Dolphins, the second overall pick in the first round. They took Tua Tagovailoa with the 5th overall pick. This is the pick they got when they traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the pick they got back there. And look, the Steelers are very happy with that trade. Minkah made a huge difference on defense, but the Dolphins are in rebuilding mode right now. Mel, as you look at what's available here to Miami, what makes sense to you?
So let's see what Burrow.
Well, you got to take offensive tackle. You got to protect Tua whenever he's the starting quarterback, and that offensive line's a big issue. You got to believe, even if you have to reach a little, Trey, offensive tackle.
It's technical difficulties.
All right, we'll see if that's the case. Brian Flores and son look very happy, as does Chris Greer. Now we can tell you officially the pick is in. Let's see if they do go up front.
We got good news for Tua here. We got good news for Tua. With the 18th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Austin Jackson, tackle, USC.
You know what just happened? Roger Goodell tipped the pick. He said we got good news for Tua. You knew it had to be an offensive lineman. And there is Austin Jackson, first team all Pac-12 out of USC as a junior last year. Ran the 40 at 5.07 at the combine at 6'5", 322 pounds. His grandfather, Melvin, was an offensive lineman at USC's national championship team in '74 and played 64 games for the Green Bay Packers. But as his family, Jackson donated bone marrow to his sister last summer. Autumn Jackson has a rare disease called diamond blackfan anemia, a genetic disorder that prevents her bone marrow from producing red blood cells. As a sibling, Austin Jackson was the best match, but it was only about a 25% possibility that his marrow would match. There are 12 markers they use to designate whether or not someone's a good match. Austin Jackson was a perfect 12 for 12. And this was not an easy thing that they do. The extraction is done using a large needle with a handle at the top that they twist into the bone like opening a wine bottle with a corkscrew. But Austin did that for his sister. His sister's doing well. And now the Dolphins hope Austin does well with the Miami Dolphins. And as we said, it is a family affair for Austin Jackson. 6'4", 322 pounds. We mentioned his grandfather on the '74 championship team and went on to play all those games for the Green Bay Packers. Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network, what are they getting?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're getting a true left tackle with outstanding foot quickness and athleticism.
Okay, so
and Trey did a great job telling the story about donating the bone marrow for his sister. But he did not have much of an offseason. I thought he struggled a little bit early on the year, and then he got more comfortable as the year progressed. He's only 20 years old. I don't know that he's able to step on the field right now and be an impact tackle. But Lewis, the upside with this kid is off the charts because of his ability to bend his knees and move. He's an outstanding athlete.
But Kyle Fuller has 99 Jones. That's what really sucks.
He's unmatched in this draft at the offensive tackle position. Or you could say at least he's on par with all the other top tackles in the draft. Tremendous set quickness, long arms, good punch, tremendous recoverability, and in the run game, he could play in a power scheme, he could play in a zone scheme, he could climb to the second level. He just needs to stay more consistent when he goes up against technically proficient pass rushers, because he had trouble with A.J. Epinesa, had a little bit of trouble with Bradley Anae, but this is a guy who's his best football all ahead of him without a doubt.
So there you see it, Tua Tagovailoa under center, Austin Jackson protecting that man under center, the offensive tackle out of USC. We continue to work our way through the draft. We are up to pick number 19, and there you see Austin Jackson and family celebrating. And as we just told you, it is absolutely something that is very important to Austin Jackson family. Austin Jackson there went through that procedure, is now with Brian Flores. Thumbs up all the way around. As we agree, two really good picks for the Miami Dolphins at Tua Tagovailoa and offensive tackle Austin Jackson. Meanwhile, we're up to pick 19 in the first round. It is the second of the two first-round picks for the Oakland Raiders. Remember, they dealt away Amari Cooper. They dealt away Khalil Mack.
But not much.
They had 3 first-round picks last year. One of them was a home run, Josh Jacobs. Jonathan Abrams was hurt, never really saw, and Cleveland Ferrell didn't really translate what they thought they'd get with the 4th overall pick. Meanwhile, what will they do with their second pick here in the first round? The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and find out what the Las Vegas Raiders are doing.
Okay, so the Raiders' second pick.
We thought it would be fitting here at pick 19 as the Las Vegas Raiders welcome their second selection to make a special announcement. As you may know, we are scheduled to host a draft in Vegas this year. And we thank so many for the effort they put forth to prepare that possibility. And we think you deserve another shot. So we're happy here to announce that tonight, the Las Vegas Raiders will host the 2020 NFL Draft. Congratulations to Mark Davis, the Raiders organization, and Raiders Nation. We look forward to being there in Las Vegas, and congratulations. And now, with the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Damon Arnett, defensive back, Ohio State.
All right, first of all, congratulations to Las Vegas getting the mulligan. We'll be there in a couple years as we will do the draft from there. But this is a fascinating decision here on a lot of levels by Damon Arnett. This was a kid that had basically decided his college career was over a year ago at cornerback and didn't even show up for some post-season meetings with Ohio State. But then it was a conversation with his father, Chris Carter, the Ohio State Buckeye wide receiver and Hall of Famer, that said, you need to come back for another year at school to be the best player you can be. And Mel, we thought we'd see a second or third round grade on Damon Arnett. How surprised are you that he's in the first round?
Early second round grade. I think you look at that third corner, Trey. We have been saying, who's the third corner? You could never build a consensus on who that third corner was. After Jeff Okudah, Ohio State, and C.J. Henderson, Florida, DJ, you just couldn't find that guy. Who that third corner was. A.J. Terrell's already been taken by Atlanta, maybe a little higher than we thought. And here, Damon Arnett, I'll tell you, he played through that injury. He tackled well. And when you're opposite Jeff Okudah, you're going to have action. And he held up very well. So I think the corners are reaching a little bit, DJ, because they're forcing these needs. Because, like I say, that third corner was very much up in the air.
Yeah, and for me, Mel, he was my 8th corner. So I think people had that third corner in all different orders. You know, one thing I'll say about Arnett, while I was surprised that he went this high, he's very competitive, and that fits with what they've tried to do in building this team over the last couple of years. A very physical, very competitive kid who can really find and play the football, which you've got to have at that position, Lewis. Look, his kid is tough, he's physical, and he can find the ball. I just thought it was a little bit earlier than I expected.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit earlier than a lot of people expected. But when you watch the film and you watch Jeffrey Okudah and then you watch Damon Arnett, look, I can tell you this. He actually plays from a technique standpoint just as well as Okudah in many respects, especially when you're talking about playing press coverage. He's very good at staying patient at the line, very physical with his hands, very physical down the field as far as not allowing wide receivers to create separation with their body. And he is a guy who's a finisher. I think it's a little bit higher than maybe some people expected, but when you really break down his game, he really is a good cover corner who really should develop into a very good pro.
Well, listen, he was a guy that listened to the people that were telling him, you need to come back and you will improve your draft status, and that's exactly what he did. We thought it was going to be improving to a second or third round pick. Instead, he goes to the Raiders with the 19th overall pick in the first round. By the way, second time in the last 4 drafts, the Buckeyes have had at least 2 first-round defensive backs and had 3 back in 2017. Put your feet up, John. You're done for the night.
You're watching the 2020 NFL Draft, presented by Lowe's.
You know, you've already got a home team.
So far, Mekhi Becton, Henry Ruggs,
Willie,
selected Tristan Wirfs,
Lauren,
Kinlaw,
Steven,
Judy,
Deborah,
Liam, Austin Jackson.
300,000 members of a team working hard to keep your home working for you.
Or linemen, so Mekhi Becton.
Because home is what unites us.
AJ Terrell and Arnett corners are off. Austin Jackson, Judy. So right now it's down to Kinlaw, unless his last pick is something. If it's not, then I'm taking Joe Kinlaw at defensive tackle. It's Allen to our D-line. Kinlaw was 14.
Wouldn't it be nice to eat with some of your old friends? Like the Chalupa Supreme, beefy 5-layer burrito, and more. Order ahead and get your $5 Chalupa Cravings box at Taco Bell's contactless drive-thru.
Every financial plan needs a CFP professional. Confident financial plans, calming financial plans, complete financial plans. They're all possible with a CFP professional. Find yours at letsmakeaplan.org.
Introducing a new podcast, ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Mina Kimes. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily. Listen wherever you get your podcast.
How fast is he, though? Need some speed. 92 speed is not going to work. Christian Kirk, 95 speed. That's
42 years of age. Emergency support goaltender. Get it out, Kirkland. I'm in. What a save!
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
What a scene here, opening day. I am pumped, and I got goosebumps right now.
Christian Kirk from the auction house. I want to see how much it takes to train him.
Correct. It's unbelievable.
Doesn't take up much. Things in the same time. He needs some help. Some got there. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, it takes a lot. 7,730. Holy shit, that takes a lot of cooling. Alright, fine, we'll just keep Christian Kirk. We'll keep Godwin. It doesn't really matter in my case. We'll just stick with Godwin and Henry Ruggs. Or we can get Ruggs and sell Ruggs.
So glad to be a part of the Draft-a-thon and everybody doing what they can to help us get through the pandemic that has swept across this country, and why we're doing this draft virtually for the first time. But glad to be sharing a communal sport experience with all of you as we continue to weave our way through the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft. That was supposed to be in Vegas, but you heard Commissioner Goodell say just a few moments ago, they're getting the mulligan. We're going back in a couple of years after we go to Cleveland next year. Let's take a look at Mel's Best Available, brought to you by Lowe's. Mel, enlighten us.
Say, good football player still on the board. Xavier McKinney, a leader back there. Justin Jefferson had a phenomenal season at LSU. Eliminated the drops, became much more consistent. K'Lavon Chaisson is a guy who has pass rush ability, but has had some injury issues, some durability concerns with him. Kenneth Murray all over the field. There's Jordan Love. We said this is no man's land for that quarterback that drops. He's still on the board for that reason.
So yeah, I need a linebacker right now.
Well, there you see the quarterback still a lot of people thought were going in Jordan Love, but where's Jacksonville going?
With the 20th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select K'Lavon Chaisson, linebacker, LSU.
Well, there you see K'Lavon Chaisson and company getting set to know that they are moving down to Jacksonville. K'Lavon Chaisson is a tour de force. He played his best at the end of the season. Over the last 4 games, including the SEC Championship and the playoffs, 5 sacks. He returned onto the field for the season opener and did all kinds of things. But the thing about K'Lavon Chaisson you need to know is he's prepared to do anything. He said, when you hire somebody, do you want to hire someone who speaks 1 language, or do you want to hire somebody who speaks 3? I speak 3. I do pass rush. I can drop into coverage and cover anybody you want me to cover, and I can play the run. No offensive lineman has ever just moved me off the ball. Booger, I think we need to understand what an exceptional athlete this kid was. He didn't play football his sophomore year because he wanted to focus on basketball. He got 6 offers before he ever played a snap of varsity football in high school.
Without a doubt, Fred. You talk about a guy that provides scheme versatility. 3-4, 4-3. He's at his best, though, when he puts his hand down. He has elite get-off coming off the edge, running twists, running stunts. In a 3-4, he could be an outside linebacker. In a 4-3, he can be a defensive end. An outside linebacker in a 3-4, they have to drop in coverage. Dave Aranda, now the head coach at Baylor, dropped him off in coverage also. K'Lavon Chaisson was the 2nd best pass rusher in this class, Lewis, and I think they got a steal right here at this point, getting such a dynamic player that has scheme versatility.
Yeah, what he is somebody who they can pair with Josh Allen now and really give you some heat off the edge. You got to assume that Yannick Ngakoue maybe not going to be on the roster here at some point, so they're planning for the future. And Chaisson, you're right. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not just somebody who's just a pass rusher. He will compete in the run game. And DJ, I think they really right now, they set themselves up to once again have a young up-front group that can really get after the passer on the edges.
Yeah, very athletic up front now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Lewis. And I'd also add, this kid getting number 18 is a big deal at LSU, as you guys know, because of his leadership and because of his character. And when I talked to the coaches down there, they said when he hurt his knee and when he was rehabbing, he did not miss a single meeting. He was plugged into that program, one of the best leaders they had on that unbelievable LSU squad.
All right, guys, thanks very much. K'Lavon Chaisson, again, went to work out at a summer camp for LSU to watch a friend, and they said, you should get on the field. He borrowed cleats and got an offer from LSU. 5 more came. Meanwhile, we have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting there with 22. You thought they might go wide receiver. We've seen some wide receivers go off the board as you look at Doug Peterson, the head coach, and Howie Roseman, the executive VP and GM. But here's why they need wide receivers in what is a very deep wide receiver draft. The last 4 games of 2019, these are the wide receivers that they were throwing to, including a former running back in Greg Ward. They used to pick on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside a year ago. That really didn't work out. They had all kinds of injuries. So, Lewis, as you look at the Eagles and the lack of depth on their wide receiver depth chart, it certainly seems like this would be a need that they need to fill.
Yeah, it really is. They need somebody who can make plays down the field. Someone really, quite honestly, is a three-position player, can play the X, the Z, and the E. They also need some linebacker help, and there's 2 linebackers on the board still right now, and Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen. So you figure maybe they don't see the value at wide receiver here, although keep an eye on a guy like Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. But the linebackers, the inside backers with speed and coverage ability are sitting right there. Maybe they pull the trigger on one of those.
Well, there you see Justin Jefferson, who had an unbelievable season at LSU. Michael Irvin, we've talked a little bit about some of these receivers, and the big 3 are off the board, but we're talking about a wide receiver draft class where there could be upwards of 15 to 20 that potentially have a first-round grade, including someone like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and Justin Jefferson is another guy that plays a lot in the slot. About 90% of his plays came out of the slot position, man, but he could make plays all over the field. I love watching him. He reminds me some of Keenan Allen, the kind of guy that you cannot stop no matter where he lines up.
All right, we'll see what happens. Again, sometimes you have to let the board talk to you, and if you are the Philadelphia Eagles, you know you need to get some sort of wide receiver for your help in Carson Wentz, who has obviously had his own issues the last couple of years, but you just saw the Dallas Cowboys load up in that division. Getting CeeDee Lamb to go with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup and Zeke Elliott and everything else they've got going there. It's going to be a point-scoring league. We're talking about Dak Prescott last season, who threw for almost 5,000 yards, 4,900. Do the Eagles feel like they need to ramp up the offensive side of the ball? We've seen Howie Roseman make all kinds of trades when he feels like he needs to make a trade and go out and get players. And Doug Peterson obviously has a system that works for him. It's been with him, and it's been with him when he was at Kansas City under Andy Reid. Translated that very nicely to what the Eagles have done here. And again, we've only had those top 3 wide receivers come off the board. There are the T. Higgins of the world. You heard Lewis mention Brandon Ayuk as well. And then we had Justin Jefferson. There are other players like Denzel Mims out of Baylor, Jalen Reagor out of TCU. All of these people are players that have first-round grades at wide receiver. But we're hearing the pick is in. Let's see if they do indeed go wide out.
Before we announce the Eagles selection, I want to personally thank our fans for your contributions to the NFL Draft-a-thon. If you're able to give, we encourage you to go to NFL.com/relief to contribute to those most in need. And we thank you again for your support. With the 21st pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Reagor, wide receiver, TCU.
Well, this is a player and a name, guys, who has been rising up a lot of draft boards since the end of the season. And if you're thinking, Reagor, that name sounds familiar, you are 100% correct. His father, Monte Reagor, was a defensive end who played 9 years in the NFL, including he was a member of the Indianapolis Colts when they won Super Bowl 41 in Miami 29-17 over the Chicago Bears. But Reagor, 5'10", almost 5'11", 206 pounds, and there you see Monte Reagor. And he was the guy whose job it was to get to the quarterback. And he put together a little pro-day workout that he sent around to videos. And Michael Irvin, a lot of people were very impressed with Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, and I was impressed with him also. He's another one of those guys. Small guy, but can go when he gets that football in his hands. He only ran a 4.47 at the combine, but he's faster than that clock shows. He has a 42-inch vertical. And we don't know what's happening with Deshaun Watson. They needed speed, and they went and got speed. Reagor is a great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles to go with Carson Wentz.
Except they can't do the...
Michael, that's the one thing. 20.8-yard average, a punt return. He fumbled the punt against Kansas. He scooped it up and went 80 yards for a touchdown.
They got his short sleeves, they got his face mask, they got his nose tape that he puts over his nose.
With his speed, he's
got
a
his
heck of a
face
competitor,
mask.
very explosive, and I think that attitude,
not
that
probably the face I would
approach
have
that he brings,
chosen for
you
him.
gotta like, and I think the
They chose the
versatility
face
as well,
with the dreads, though,
big-time punt returner
so
added
I guess
to
it's
his
an
value.
upside. Now for Okuda.
Well, he left a lasting impression
so
on
Jeff
someone.
Okuda, they got
He had
both
an
the double arm
incredible
sleeves,
65-yard touchdown on a jailbreak screen against Baylor. Matt Rule says, I still have nightmares about Jalen Reagor. And Howie Roseman is hoping that Jalen Reagor will provide nightmares for all the teams that have to play the Eagles.
Again, they did a pretty good job, just like
the NFC.
With, what's his name? But Chase did a good job, or Joe Burrow did a good job of both of those guys, I have to say.
Yo, Dad, come play some ball.
If only Chase
No, but Dad.
I'm not your dad. Because I'm your dad's son. I was your dad. Would I be able to do this?
What are you doing?
I'm doing this. Make a switch.
Rodgers will bring it up to the line first and 10. He's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start.
Here's the deal. There's no replacing the real Chris Paul. Come on. Just like there's no replacing State Farm. You want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Chase got 4. Here's Chase, finally. Even though he made that tackle for him, it was also Joe Schober. And this is why aggressive defense was close now.
The blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers. Freed up the D-line.
Perfect block there with Chase there.
And running room scares here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks.
When you and your home is needed as much.
Officially no
working
gain
together
on the play,
to keep your home working. It's just what we do.
Setting up the screen here, Aaron Jones. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line.
What unites us.
Good-looking drive for the Packers so far. It's a first down.
We live in uncertain times. However, there is one thing you can be certain of. The men and women of the United States Postal Service. We're here to deliver cards and packages from loved ones, and also deliver the peace of mind of knowing that essentials like prescriptions are on their way. Every day, all across America, we deliver for you, and we always will.
And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15, a gain of 3. A short gain of just over 2 yards as the first half clock dips inside of 3 minutes. Rodgers now to throw. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. Didn't have a receiver open downfield as it turned out. Couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
Shall we begin?
And the 12-year knocks it right through.
Man, look at this world.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Keep listening.
I smell chips when we watch it. Oh, my God!
Taste it.
This is
And enjoy.
Hello, son. Dad, not cool. You know it's not uncool? Old Spice After Hours and jazz.
Dad, I prefer Ultra Smooth. It handles sweat without all that jazz.
You're right, son.
To the people during this pandemic that's putting their lives on the line. For people that, you don't even know. We all want to say thank you. Thank you for everything from top to bottom. Because you don't have to do what you're doing. And you're doing it out of kind of your heart. We appreciate it.
I'd also like to give a special shout out to all of the hard-working healthcare workers taking care of us. We appreciate you and thank you.
Coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will
And don't forget, you can visit NFLshop.com tonight for official 2020 draft gear, caps, jerseys, and more, all shipped free. Also, the NFL is currently providing complimentary access to NFL Game Pass. We continue and watch more and sign up for complimentary access on NFL Game Pass. Time now for our Pizza Hut draft moment. Let's go back to the wild card game between the Vikings and the Saints as Minnesota did it again to New Orleans. Just 3 straight years, the Saints have had heartbreaking losses on the final play of the game as they got off early to a good start. Drew Brees and company rallied back. Taysom Hill on the reception there. But then Minnesota and company went to overtime after that kick. And then Kyle Rudolph, after Adam Thielen got him down there, comes up with a touchdown, 26-20. That's a 3rd straight playoff game the Saints had lost with the final score. The winning points coming on the final play of the game. That was our Pizza Hut draft moment. So, Kurt Warner, we look at Minnesota. This is the pick Minnesota got when they made Buffalo made the trade to take Stephon Diggs and take him to Buffalo. Where do we think Minnesota needs to go with the first of 2 picks?
And he's got Rome. The
Minnesota needs to go.
Well, it's great. You're talking to a quarterback. Get me more weapons out of Kirk Cousins. And this was a team that was top 10 in rushing the football last year. We know we just saw they won a playoff game, but they were only 23rd ranked in the National Football League at throwing the football. You lose one of your biggest weapons in Stephon Diggs. You wonder if they take a page out of San Francisco's playbook. They traded away DeForest Buckner. They draft a younger version, a cheaper version of that. Will Minnesota do the same after getting this pick from Buffalo for Stephon Diggs? I got to say, I've really enjoyed looking inside the head coach's houses. Mike Zimmer with the big fireplace and the fire roaring. Very Minnesota touch. The pick is in, and Roger Goodell is going full skull with the Vikings fans.
Go. Come on, let's go, Viking fans. With the 22nd pick in the 2020 draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU.
Well, here's where you're about to find out that sometimes drafting is kind of like high school recruiting. It's not an exact science. Justin, we apologize. ESPN gave you no stars coming out of high school, and you were listed as the number 308 receiver in the nation in the class of 2017. You didn't even crack the top 50 in the state of Louisiana. Safe to say, you made up for it. Your season was incredible. A school record 111 catches. And if it hadn't been for teammate Jamar Chase's 20 touchdown grabs, you would have had the most last season in college football at 18. Of course, he's not the first Jefferson to play football at LSU. Jordan, his oldest brother, was a quarterback there. And Ricky, another older brother, was an LSU defensive back 2013 to 2016. Michael Justin Jefferson was a late bloomer and came into this process a little later than some, and he has certainly made the most of it with an unbelievable career at LSU.
Yes, and listen, I love this pick as a football player. Now, I'm really anxious to see how Minnesota will work this out because, you know, Adam Thielen works the slot a lot in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson was 99% out of the slot at LSU. So seeing how they mesh this together is going to be very interesting. But this kid can flat out play football. He made great plays deep, made plays over top of people, and when he does get the ball in his hands, he can take short passes and make long plays out of them. Justin Jefferson going to Minnesota. I tell you, DJ, hell, that's going to be a great pick.
Yeah, look, you look at this player on tape, he reminds me so much of Keenan Allen and what he did in the slot, Mike. His ability to separate, he catches everything. He's always where he's supposed to be. He's a pro. And when I talked to the folks down at LSU, they said, look, his brother who played at LSU was roommates with Patrick Peterson. This kid was running routes against Patrick Peterson when he was a teenager. He's not going to be intimidated when he steps into an NFL locker room. And Mel, I had a buddy in the league that said this was Gary Kubiak's favorite receiver in the draft. He's going to catch a million balls in Minnesota.
DJ, I'm surprised he was there. I thought he'd go more middle of the first round at 13, 14, 15 area. The big games, Georgia, Oklahoma, Clemson, late in the year, he had 30 receptions in those 3 football games. Then he ran 4.43 at the combine when a lot of people thought he'd run 4.55. Joe Brady really improved, coaching up those receivers. He eliminated those drops, and Justin Jefferson became, like Joe Burrow, a completely different player in 2019 as he was in 2018. That allowed him to move up from the second round into the first round.
Well, there you see GM Rick Spielman, and there is Justin Jefferson. Again, a replacement for what they lost when they got this pick, Stephon Diggs. That was part of a trade before the draft, but now let's go back to Adam Schefter. Adam, we're at pick 23, which would be the Patriots, but wait a minute, we've got a trade, don't we?
Well, Trey, yes, the New England Patriots have traded out of the first round, trading that pick, number 23, to the Los Angeles Chargers for second and third round picks. There are the details of the exact trade. Keep in mind, New England had traded its second round pick for Mohamed Sanu, so now the Patriots are left with 13 picks, and they can take the same player 37 that they would have taken at 23. The Chargers, meanwhile, I think are looking for defensive help. They got Justin Herbert. On the other side of the football, there's a couple of linebackers sitting there right now that would make a lot of sense for the Los Angeles Chargers at this point in time. They're looking for attacking machine.
Adam,
They're
thanks. The pick is in. Let's find out what the Chargers are doing with their second first-round pick. No? Okay.
They'll look to throw. So the awareness of knowing where the first
pick
down
is not yet in. But again, not surprising that the Patriots moved back. Not surprising that the Patriots moved back at all. This is what Bill Belichick has done, as we're trying to see what Anthony Lynn, the head coach, and Tom Telesco, the general manager of the LA Chargers, are going to do. Listen, the Patriots are going to take a quarterback at some point in this draft process, but it wasn't going to be in the first round, and what they're doing is gearing up the picks potentially to move and shake around a quarterback in the third or fourth round.